Hello, everybody. This might be the earliest I've ever gotten started. It is 8:49, so that means I'm only 4 minutes late for the 8:45 live stream. Let me turn on the broken ring light here. On time, but of course not prepared. Of course, the ring light saga continues, still holding out for an exact copy of the one I have. But welcome to episode 13 of the Collecting Justified live stream podcast. Could you call it a podcast, video podcast, live stream, whatever? Who cares? I'm excited. We've got some people in the chat. I've got all my wonderful guests, co-hosts, everybody on the way. We're going to have a fun live stream today talking about these guys right here, Power Rangers. Not just Hasbro Lightning Collection, but we're going to do a brief overview leading up to see what got to the Lightning Collection, the build-up, the history, what made the Lightning Collection so good, and what could have possibly went wrong and what we could look forward to in the future or possibly dread going into the future. So, I do have one person in the green room. I'm still waiting on two more, but without further ado, let's bring in. He was here last week. He's back again. I think he likes us. Let's bring in Kenny from Encounter Culture. How's it going, bud?
It's going pretty good. Yeah. I guess it's fair to say that. I like you guys.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Well, we have fun chatting, chit-chatting, right, and everything, rambling.
Exactly.
I'm excited about today's episode, man, but I guess Alexi and David aren't as excited. I'm here before them.
They're both in the chat, so I think they're kind of just messing around,
David always gives me a hard time about starting late.
You started too early. You threw it off. That's what it is. They weren't ready for it,
Did the little intro music video look a little smoother?
It did, yeah.
Guess what? I took your advice and had it uploaded straight to Streamlabs instead of using the present tool.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it definitely makes a difference.
I did have to trim it down though, because it said it was like it has to be under like 200 megabytes or whatever. So that's why it puts me on a timer to start too, because the second I click go live, the intro starts, and once that video is gone, I'm just on screen for all the world to see.
Yeah.
So we do have one more person here. Let's welcome in Alexi. How's it going, man? Alexi, we missed you. Last week. Bud.
I know. Thank you for having me back. I know you've already got someone even more capable to replace me, but I'm here to wiggle my way back. Never.
He's got the hat on and everything. Just
exactly. just trying to be a fill-in, see if anybody noticed. I think they did though. I don't know.
No, I don't know. They're like, oh, Lexi looks a little different. I think he grew up the facial hair a little more.
I'm being erased. I'm being replaced, as they say, right, Kenny?
That's right. That's what they say.
Next stop is the basement. Next stop's the basement, Alexi. And speaking of the basement, I think he's late because he had to make sure Andrew was locked up. Let's bring in David. How's it going, man?
After 10,000 years, I'm free. What up? Hello. Sorry I'm late.
Yeah, it's okay. Hey, David, I only started 4 minutes late this week. Aren't you proud? I
expected more time for me to be late by you being late. My bad.
No.
I got to get it together. I'm sorry.
Give me so much crap every week, and I'm finally here on time. And who's the last one in? You're Craig this week, David. You're Craig this
snap! I can't be cousin Craig.
Ultimate honor.
Speaking of Craig, Dan did suggest I brought him on. So oh no, he never responded to the link. Never mind. No, Craig's not coming. I didn't invite Craig. I meant to, but I figured he'd probably be in bed and everything. So hopefully some of our UK friends are in the chat. Speaking of the chat, I do want to go through and say hey to the people that are here real quick. We've got John. Somebody, do you guys know how to pronounce his last name? Because I don't want to.
Boudreaux.
John Boudreaux. Welcome to the Collecting Justified live stream, John Boudreaux. You've been here the last few weeks. And speaking of UK, Dan Hayden is in the chat. Hey, Dan Hayden. Hopefully he's He's relaxing. You know, the classic. What does Dan say? Does Dan who say the classic Dan Hayden? Like relaxed. I don't know, camera angle, something. I don't know. I can never understand what Dan who's saying anyway. So
Who's Dan who?
That's what I'm wondering. And Christopher Allen, everybody's favorite, is in the chat, dropping the membership exclusive emojis. It doesn't show it on StreamYard. Unfortunately. Mike Hext is here. Sup? What's up, Mike? Chi Collects is here. Let's see here. We've got Judd3300. Hi, Judd. And I think that's everybody so far. I'll check in on the chat as new people pop in and everything. Usually, nobody's used to me being as early as I am today. So, but guys, we've got a fun one. But before we get into the slides or any of the housekeeping or anything, how's everybody doing?
Good.
Yeah. As good as can possibly be.
It's been a hard week for me, and I just want to preface it by like toys and talking about toys is my safe space. It's my way to like stay in touch with this innocent part of my life before I paid bills and like paid rent and did all the adulting things. So I want to protect toys as a safe space for that. But I just want to acknowledge that there was like a big seismic shift. As a friend of mine, Will Beatty, who's been on in this chat before, like there's been a seismic shift in America this past week. So, I don't want to go political in the toy chat, but like anybody that's like going through it or has feelings, like feel free to message me on Instagram and we can talk it out. We can talk directly about stuff or we can talk about toy stuff, but I just don't want to like go and not acknowledge that things changed a lot in America this week. So, well, we're here to get through it together. So
exactly. Right. No matter what, it's all going to hell in a handbasket, and that's why we have our safe space right here. It's getting worse and worse every day.
Cheers to that.
But we're here with our plastic crap. We're here with each other, and that's all that matters. And we got to acknowledge Z-Man. Z-Man is in the chat. Z-Man, hey. I finished the membership slide right before starting the stream, so the housekeeping is updated with that. And Judd said, I just subscribed to the channel. Well, thank you, Judd. Whoa. Thank you for helping. Excuse me, I had a burp. We're on the track to 1,000 subscribers. Very, very, very professional. Very professional, guys.
Howard Stern does it all the time. You're fine.
Exactly. And Legion X is here. How's it going, Legion X?
Hey, Rick.
So let's get into the housekeeping right here. I want to have it like this. So, David, what happened with this rebranding again? Can you remind me? I forget.
And
I forget.
We're closing in on like this is episode 13, and I believe episode 7 was our last Toy Chat Live.
Correct.
Episode 8 started The Justified. So, all we do is justify over all of our purchases, all of our overspending, and all of our just complete letting toys take over our lives. So feel free to join the Justified. You guys are here every week. Like, comment, subscribe, become the Justified. Be a part of this family. So, and then next week we're episode 14. So we're officially Justified as long as we have been Toy Chat Live. So I don't know. We might retire. It's
time for a new name.
Yeah.
Every seven episodes. Yep. Time for a new name. Nope. That means so going into next week, this slide will be changed up. It'll just be like the cover slide, just collecting Justified, just introducing and everything. But so on to the next slide here. So the free Andrew from the Basement Fund is open, everybody. Super chats, super thanks are live. All super chats go towards improving the channel, but not only improving the channel, I think having Andrew on is a way of improving the channel. So there were no super chats last week. Unfortunately, we got new channel members, but no super chats. So we had to lock Andrew back in the basement. The rules are the rules. He can't be on the show if there aren't enough super chats. So Andrew's back in the basement behind bars. Make sure you hit that super chat button. Help out the channel. Help out Andrew. Christmas is, well, Thanksgiving's around the corner, then Christmas. Don't make this poor man spend the holiday in the basement. We don't feed him a lot, guys. We don't feed him one tray a day.
Cold down
One tray
there.
a day. It is cold. It is very cold.
Isn't it true that like if he's not freed from the basement, he gets put into a space dumpster and sent into space for like 10,000 years?
I'm telling you. I'm telling you, if we don't get enough funds to free him, I probably after 3 episodes, I just got to ship him off to the moon. Ship him off to the moon.
There you go.
And speaking of the Justified, you can now become a member of the Justified. Go and hit that join button on your computer, on your Android device. If you're on Apple, anything iOS, it's a little finicky. You have to go to your web browser, go into desktop mode, then that wonderful join button's right there. Or look in the description of this video right here, just right there. Click that little link to become a channel member, and you become,
there you go.
you can become a member of this wonderful professional stream where I'm coughing all the time into the microphone. You can become Justified with all these wonderful channel members right here. When you become Justified, I do acknowledge you at the beginning and end of each live stream, and this wonderful slide will help me do that. So going through the channel members, we have Z-Man, Tac Tac Toys, KJ Smith, Legion X, K-Mac, Ravenous Collecting, Encounter Culture, Kenny here himself, St. James, our biggest fan in the world, Compulsive Collector, John. John loves us to death. How's that full, like that blown up image of me, like that poster on your wall, John? I'm just curious. Dan, who reviews, our second biggest fan, Super Turk 5000, the new upcoming co-host of Turtles and Tea here on the Just Justin Collects YouTube channel, Art G, Darth Primus, Phoenix, and everyone's favorite Christopher Allen. Those are our wonderful channel members. So guys, we've got a few channel members. I'm surprised. And we've got a guilt trip me, why don't you? Mike Hex, $2. See, Mike is doing his part. Everybody. Make sure you donate to the channel to not only free Andrew from the basement, but also I'm still looking for a new ring light. My Walmart had a bunch of these, and then they remodeled both Walmarts and shrunk down the little, like, the light section. And now all they have are like the small, like, little ring lights. So Amazon it is, I guess, eventually. Amazon it is. So, guys, before we get into the main topic, there has been more news. So I don't know about you guys, but my wallet is dying. Luckily, I'm not a Ghostbusters fan. So, Kenny, I'm sorry.
It's been a tough week. A lot of dollars went out the door.
It is rough. So, but luckily, the HasLab payment, it's going to be the first thing to hit. The Sentinels aren't until next year. This dragon, we don't even know what's going on. This Mythic Legion's dragon. So I've got some nice pictures. This was big news, and I'm very excited about it. You've all seen, there haven't been many people posting about this dragon so far, right? It's not all over Instagram or anything.
I've seen a single thing.
But this thing is huge, and oh man, is anybody else in for this, depending on the price?
I know Cloud and Bring Toys to Work were really excited when the reveal came out in the Legends and Liquor chat. I myself, I'm a Wyvern guy. I'm not a big dragon guy. No, I wouldn't do either one, to be honest. I really like it and it looks sick, but I don't do sword and sorcery themed stuff.
Yeah, same. It looks great, but thankfully I will get a little bit of a rest from the for the wallet on that one.
Yeah, that it again, it does look stunning, amazing. Like there's that flame trail that like comes out of its mouth. And
Yes.
how big is this thing? Like,
Just its mouth?
well, I mean, I don't know how many ports they're gonna like
It's-
engineer into this
It
thing.
ate
for
some
the flame
spicy
trail,
foods.
but
You know?
Yeah.
who knows?
They have
But
Taco Bell in there, right?
right?
there we go. It's 22 inches tall.
Oh,
It
and
looks like.
31 inches long. Jeez,
Unparalleled Universe posted a clip like showing it, you know, like in person there. It's massive, dude. It looks fantastic, but
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is
Sick for sure.
beautiful. Look at that.
Yeah.
There it
I mean,
is.
I'm
Oh.
just gonna save my money for the Will Smith HasLab fund.
Z-Man
After
is in the
eating
chat.
Taco Realm.
Z-Man did do his member chat. Member for 1 month. Thank you, Z-Man. Says hashtag free Andrew, hashtag justified. We're working on it, Z-Man. We have to free him together.
Yeah.
Together. But man, this I'm in for that. That being said, I'm in as long as the price isn't absolutely through the roof.
Well,
Yeah.
what's your threshold? What's your make or break?
I think, oh man, I don't know.
It has to be a price that you're willing to like send me that amount of money. Like,
Me too, now that I think about it.
Right.
and if you're sending
Actually, it
money
might
out,
be a little
I'll
too
jump
rich.
in there too.
I don't know, man. I'm thinking like around. I want it to be 300, but I
Okay.
have
Okay.
a bad feeling it's going to be upwards of 5.
Do you have a lot of Mythic Legion stuff?
No, I don't. I've got like 5 or 6 Mythic Legions. I'm very selective, but to me, like this dragon is just like a good centerpiece or just a good piece in anything, really.
Definitely.
And-
Well, what I mean is like, would 300 fit? Would the price 300 be in scale with other Mythic Legion stuff, or
They haven't done anything this big. Like this is on.
so
They,
you're saying 10 inches is worth $100 to you?
yeah, sure,
Okay.
sure.
I
Okay,
guess it depends on where you are, you know.
noted.
Right.
For how long? You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
This thing is just beautiful. That being said, I mean, when it comes down to there has to be some kind of payment plan, honestly, and I hope they're smart enough to do that because that'll really increase the amount they sell. Because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is going to be kind of like a crowdfunding thing.
That's
Is
what I
I've
read.
heard.
Yeah, maybe they take
So-
half up front, you know.
Oh, oof. Man, I don't know. I want it. I do want it. But if I can't make it happen, I can't make it happen. But if I can make it happen, I will. So I
Where
want this in my
would you
collection.
display this? Where the hell are you putting this?
That is future Justin's problem. I'm
With
gonna put
all
it
this gold.
right next to my Batwing
Perfect.
in the floor. I don't know. All this big stuff coming out, man. It's
Oh, there you go.
it's
Michael's
too
in the
much.
chat. He can...
That's yeah, bring toys to work.
Crowdfunding in January.
Yeah. Oh man. So, Michael, do you think they're gonna want any money like
Damn,
up
that's huge.
front, or is it gonna be after it? I don't know. This is like their first time doing this kind of thing. So, but man, it's huge. Like right here, it's all the different scales of the Mythic Legions. Like the one in the red right there next to the horse is a standard
damn.
Mythic Legion. Yeah.
Wow.
If I can't make it work, if I can't swing it, then I can't swing it, and I'm fine. Because I feel like eventually they'll release different dragons. There's no way this is a one and done in this line.
That means
So-
you're buying multiple dragons?
Oh no! I will get one dragon and that's it.
Wow.
I'll
Well, if
get
it's a
one dragon.
crowdfund, there is a good chance that it is the only one, though, right? Like,
Yeah, I guess it just depends on how this one goes. So
yeah, it looks
I'm
sick.
I'm excited about it. I am, but we will see. We will see.
Do you think it would have to be like, say 300 is the average? I mean, I don't know. I think it would have to be more. It's 33 inches long and 22
And that's
high.
That's
and you
without
gotta
the tail
ship it
being
in
fully
a box.
extended. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what people are saying. I saw someone say shipping might be like upwards of $100. So
If they
Ooh.
take that into the total cost, like what if this is 450? Would you
No.
be out? Are you out?
yeah, I'd be out. I'd be out. It has to be somewhere. They have to present it and offer it in a way that makes sense. That means a right price, some type of payment plans, or hopefully it's not like a paying 4 type thing. I need like a paying 12.
Yeah.
It's going to be like 450, 1200. But Bring Toys to Work says 4 Horsemen typically has you pay up front or all waves. So I'm thinking it will be the same, just like a HasLab. Yeah, man.
I mean, this is the thing that kind of challenges everybody's individual value system, right? Like, what is something of this size and scale and scope, and like the legitimate limits of like how often somebody's going to produce something like this, and like anybody that's, I'm sure there's a huge Mythic Legions fan base that is going to go in on this. So I imagine it would fund, because how much money has Bring Toys to Work sank into Mythic Legions with all of the hauls that he's posting?
We don't want to know. Michael doesn't want to know.
Exactly.
Let's not even. Michael's also saying in the chat that there's 5 dragons of different shapes and sizes planned, which is phenomenal. If I was a Mythic Legions collector, or even like a collector in that realm, that would be very good news. And to your point, David, like Mythic Legions has a really dedicated core group of collectors, so I think they could pull this off, because I think a dragon is something they've been asking for a while, like aeons, you could say.
Yeah.
Wow.
Michael did say prepare for 500. Yeah, it looks like 500. It's kind of wishful thing. At 500, I'm out. I can't.
Well, you're a HasLab virgin, right?
Yeah.
But think Sentinel
We'll go slow,
was
baby.
what,
Don't worry
350?
about it.
Sentinel was 350, right? And Galactus was 400. Is that right? Am I remembering correctly?
I think so. Yeah.
Once I spend the money, it goes out of my mind.
Out of your
mind. Just forget about it, right?
I don't remember.
That's the best way to spend money.
Like, what are you talking about? But like, think of a generic dragon, like people that are into what? I've never watched the Lord of the Rings movie, but like Lord of the Rings or
Game of
Thrones, or Dan, who is going to be sewing together like a pair of purple shorts to like put on this thing and use them as Fin Fang's Foom. Like
Jokerized dragon.
Oh,
get hold of it.
You like dragons? There's a dragon out there.
Yeah.
So like, there's a wide ranging potential appeal for this thing. But for me, like the capper, let's say I'm independently wealthy, which is completely not the case, but space, where the hell am I putting that?
Oh, it's tough, man. Yeah, it's tough.
I'm starting to sweat.
Yeah, at first glance and seeing it, it's really easy to say, I want it. I want that. I want it. But then when it comes to time to like see the price point and to pay, and it's like, actually, I'm out. Sorry. And unfortunately, I feel like that's going to be a lot of people at that $500 price point. So I want it to get made for everybody that wants it. So hopefully there's enough people that can up that money. Hopefully 4 Horsemen can come up with some type of payment plan to help fund it. But I know with a crowdfunding project, that could get real murky on if people dip out and don't finish their payment plans. So,
well, I would
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I would assume you could pay with like PayPal, right? And then PayPal offers, like, you can do payment plans through like PayPal, right? Break it up into 4 or whatever. There are other things that allow you to do that as well. So even if they don't offer it, there are payment options like that, I guess.
Yeah. So it's that was worthy news to bring. That was justified news, if you will, to bring up on the stream. So I know everybody's talking about it.
Is there any buzz on like what the backer count they might want for this?
I don't know. Michael might know. Bring Toys to Work. Might know.
Michael might be on the ground on all of this. So like, let us know, because like I'd be curious what their threshold is of how many people they would want to commit to a $500 price point for like producing this.
Michael also just said in the chat that 4 Horsemen doesn't use PayPal on their website.
Well,
Damn.
Sorry,
Oh,
Kenny.
according to Will
firm-
Ferrell, I can pay everywhere with PayPal. You know what I mean?
We've seen a $500 price point before, though, right? Didn't Super 7 do a couple things that were $500? Wasn't
a turtle van, right?
The turtle van, wasn't the Cat's Lair $500 for Thundercats? Yeah. Do you, for the Marvel collectors, looking at you, David, would you spend $500 on a 112 scale X-Jet or Blackbird?
No, because there's no playability.
I don't fucking believe you for a second.
No, there's no playability factor for me to get a somewhat realistically scaled Blackbird jet, and there's nowhere for me to go with that. I still have my Batwing that is boxed up since my move, waiting to figure out how I'm gonna wall mount this thing.
What about an X-Mansion?
And no. Nah.
Still
I'd
no?
rather send a paycheck to marvellegends.net to make me a Marvel Mansion front. Do you guys know this website that existed like 10
They just do Dio where it's like a display piece, or is it
marvellegends.net had like a checklist format page.
Oh
for,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
everything, and then the guy that ran it had this mansion front that was a Dio that he displayed like every team on the roof of or on the balconies or in front of it, and it was such a good reference point for an early Marvel Legends collector to like go and see every character kind of displayed in this splash page style thing. And he recently posted, like he went offline for a while and like nobody knew if he was still collecting or whatever, but he recently posted on Facebook, I think, that he was still around, and like his picture had some new Marvel Legends filtered into it. He still had some old stuff, so like I don't know, but like I'd rather pay him to like make me a mansion front.
He made it himself?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Check it out. I don't know if the website's even still up.
I've heard of marvellegends.net, definitely.
Rush has some stuff. He like prints off things.
The background.
Yes, high definition. Images.
Yeah.
That's cool stuff too.
Ooh, no, yeah. 500.
No, I guess you're not a hardcore X-Men collector, David. Sorry about that. I mislabeled you.
So I'm just playing around, you know?
Yeah.
I do want to acknowledge our new subscriber in the chat did ask a question. He was talking about something I'm not into, but Judd was asking about My Little Pony toys. I think it would have a fan base who was also just asking other questions about My Little Pony. That's out of my wheelhouse, but I know it has a very strong following, so a figure line would do good, probably. That's as far as I know.
I like a fully articulated My Little Pony, like like horses that have like all the leg joints and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I grew up as a little gay boy, like feeling connected to like cartoons of My Little Pony, and I remember like having one or two. They still make toys now. Okay. So
yeah.
But
I'm thinking My Little Pony from Snail Shell. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It'd be Super 7. Be Super 7.
Yeah, it definitely would be Super 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, isn't Mondo's like Real Ghostbusters line like expecting to charge you $500 for like a 6-inch Ghostbusters?
That's for the whole set. Okay.
At this rate,
yeah.
Although they like after they went on sale, right? They had a sale last week, 20% off if you spend $200. And I'm like, well, shit, I already put in the pre-order, right? And they don't allow you to cancel. Like all sales are final.
Oh shit.
But I emailed them. I was like, hey, I see you guys have a sale going on. Any chance that that could be honored, And they were like, well, typically we don't cancel, but they went ahead and canceled it. So I went ahead and pre-ordered it, right? So
nice.
Took down both figures to 184 instead of over 200. So it's still not good.
I think you should have good luck with customer service, because I watched last week's stream and you were like, yeah, I just called Hasbro. Dude, and they were like, no problem. We'll send those eyes out to you right away.
It's just how you talk to the people.
So
you know,
it sounds like you have a way with customer service.
it's a smooth. I put the extra bass in the voice. You know, nice smooth talk, and it's easy to go. You know?
Kenny, I would give you anything you asked me for right now. Like just
Oh,
appreciate it.
say
Save
the
it
word
for an after show.
Those dulcet tones, man. Say the word.
That's definitely members only. So
Yeah.
Yeah, pay for that content. Rush is here. Hey, Rush, how's it going, bud? We're just talking about you. And he said that website is a dead website, Dave.
Oh, okay.
So, and I think, I mean, there's people echoing what we're saying, like in the chat about, like Dan Hayden here saying, cost plus size equals no go for me. I think, unfortunately, that's going to be a lot of people. But so I think we've got a lot to talk about this week. So if everyone doesn't mind, I think I'm going to skip pickups for the most part, unless anybody's got something they're really excited about showing off.
I think David and I have some exciting stuff to show off.
Are you sure?
I don't think we can afford to skip pickups.
I don't know.
Oh.
It's okay. We can do. I guess we can do pickups.
Quick one.
Sure. Okay. So who wants to go first?
Go for it, Kenny.
Okay. All right. So, Secret Wars, right? Secret Wars wave started hitting.
That cap is pinless, right?
It is.
Yes.
Pinless. Spider-Man also. Yeah, everything is pinless in the wave too, by the way. There are no pin figures in the entire wave.
I wasn't going to make everybody skip their pickups, by the way. I was messing with David.
That's fair.
Fair.
I haven't gotten around to Iron Man yet, but you know, I'm excited to check out these roller skates. Dazzler needs a skating partner, so you know, now I gotta get a Legends roller rink going.
Pictures.
Double skates only.
Oh, good night, Judd. Have a good one. Thank you for subscribing.
Judd's out already? Damn.
Oh, Judd.
Judd, we're just getting started.
Catch the rest on the replay. It's all good.
Okay.
And I picked this up today because it was on sale. So Jim Lee Superman statue. It's
Who
decent.
Makes that? What's that?
Yeah, we don't talk about. I gotta actually let's cover that because we don't want to see that. I find it weird.
I find them weird too.
Yeah,
same.
That they put a cloth cape on the statue. I get it for action figures, but why is there a cloth cape on a statue?
Oh no, I support that actually. Because
I guess
I've seen a lot of
but just sculpt it like that.
Yeah,
it's a statue.
Yeah, but you have this is the one way that you can make.
I'm not that good.
Your own.
It's gonna look like shit when I do it.
That's already more articulation than some of his other figures.
True.
So,
that's true. 100% true.
Oh, Judd changed their mind. Said,
"Woo!"
Say, all right. Make sure you hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Let YouTube know you enjoyed this stream, even if you're not enjoying it. Hit it. Lie about it.
Hit it anyway.
Compulsive collector.
Exactly.
Just for Judd, let's go all night. Let's just stream all night. 8 hours.
8 hours.
Till daybreak.
But yeah, so Secret Wars is good. This cap though is fantastic, dude. I love this thing. The blue on there is a beautiful shade of blue. Great update with being all pinless. So it's definitely my favorite of the wave.
Are you using the smiling head right now?
No, I have the angry head on.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have
constipated,
to. I'm gonna display one of each.
Yeah.
Need to use a smiling head. He's got the saluting hand and the pointing hand. They should give him a thumbs up hand. You know?
That's a good point.
That'll be in the Marvel vs. Capcom version.
Yeah.
With no butterflies. We'll be back to pinned. They'll have a shitty blue hue to it.
It'll just
you'll get a thumbs up.
It'll just be the 80th re-released in the dark blue. That's still a good figure, but yeah, it'll definitely go backwards.
I watched your review, Kenny. You really don't want the shield throwing effect anymore? I thought that was fun.
No, I'm okay with it, but I can understand. We don't need it with every single one. We got it twice already.
So elitist.
Well, actually, we've got it a few more times. A few more times, right? Exactly. I've got this bucket of things. Just more stuff for the bucket
of eyes.
I'm with you though. I like the shield with the effects on it, like from the previous one. The broken shield sucks.
Yeah. No, I can understand people are going to be mad about that, but it'll be good for like people who are into photography. Not me, but people who do photography. That'll be a great accessory to have. But any new collectors, they're just continually pissed off because they're not getting a regular shield to go with their Captain America. You got all the like back-to-back great Captain America figures and no regular shield to go with them. So
what do you think is the best shield that we have though?
I like the Bucky cap, the newer Bucky cap.
Yes.
I think that's probably the best shield. It's got a nice shine to it.
And very good metallic colors to that.
Yeah.
To the stripes and everything. Yeah, that's my favorite too, actually. I have it in I have the Arctic Custom Avengers team, and that's the shield I use for that. It's like right in the center of the display.
It's like got a good size, but it's still a clip shield.
Yeah.
But I think trading the size for it is a good swap because and it does have the darker color and sheen to it.
Yeah.
And I like not sculpted like anything on it. I like it being like a one clean, like
mine does shield. Have a swirl on it though, if you can see that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Battle damage.
You know what? Have Kenny call customer service about
I got you.
I absolutely should. That's a good point.
swirly replacement.
Yeah.
All right. Kenny, was that
anything
else to show off?
That's it. That's all I got.
All right. I guess we'll let David go.
Well, I'm not going to.
Anyway, okay, now Alexi's turn. Now that David's done. Oh no.
I'm not going to continue to talk about Cap, but I do want to plug. Like, I could have used open hands in the same red color.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do a lot of photography with this cap with the broken shield, and I just posted something this week with that. Kind of timely with this political environment in America right now. So I was planning this post, and I needed to use the 20th anniversary cap because he's got the open hands to be really expressive. So my problem is not having a blues match for the standard stoic face. Now I have a smiling head and an angry head in this new blue, and then the standard head is in a different blue, and then thank you for pulling that up. There you go. I love that picture.
That's so crisp, man.
Great.
This is art. This is art, man. Everybody get on board with this art.
Yeah.
So not having an open hand and the right red that matches the new cap is a miss for me, So my cap is pinned in that photo because it's the
I was confused. I was confused for a second.
Yeah.
But great picture, David.
Thank you. Yeah. So I love that. And then you didn't show off, Kenny, the Beyonder. So
hey, does your Beyonder have a chip in the lapel? Somebody pointed out in my review that mine's missing a chunk, so I do have to contact customer service again.
No.
You got Dan Hood.
Yeah, let me grab it.
In the lapel?
Let me grab it real quick.
Like an actual piece of plastic just missing from the mold. That's wild. Maybe where the stylistic triangle is up there.
Wow.
I don't know.
Hasbro saw the review. Hasbro saw the review. They've already got the replacement on the way, Kenny.
Yeah.
They are watching Encounter Culture and finding it all but the detail on this thing, he's got these pleats on his high-waisted pants. There's all the little pinless, of course. I don't know. I like it.
Why that version though? Why Secret Wars 2 version?
Yeah. So they can sell us the other one later.
Disco, man. Disco's not dead. Disco's not dead. Come on, Dazzler needs to go to the roller rink with Beyonder.
He definitely looks like he's been at a club in the 70s,
right?
And right. Pop those Iron Man roller skates on, and him and Dazzler are gonna have a good time.
Oh yeah. And then the little world building effect is so cool.
That thing's sick. Yeah,
I love
that effect is sick.
I like it. It's a static piece, but has so much motion just sculpted into it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love, and they've hit all up with a bunch of different colors of paint. So like, you know, your greens and your golds, and there's this flame, and yeah, it's just great. I love that. And honestly, fave of the wave, Titania.
Yeah.
So Titania, this, I mean, the boot swivel is hidden in the cuff of the boot.
Look at those thighs.
Those thick thighs, man. Saving lives.
Yeah.
This chick, come on. I feel like there's like limited posability because of the hair sculpt.
Yeah.
But I forgive her. Like she's awesome.
I actually wish they gave her bigger hair.
I know. Every like reference art, she's got like this huge mane of hair that's like down to the small of her back, and like she's got this little, you know, sensible shortcut. She's going to the grocery store. Doesn't want it, you know, hair to get in the way. But yeah, such good stuff. The spikes. Come on.
Yeah, the spikes are crazy.
She's ready to go to Pound Town. So
all right, I'm ready too. Okay.
Yeah, I only got those 3 so far. I'm waiting on the other ones, you know.
Nice. Good
But
pickups.
check out Kenny's posts about all of them. So
exactly. So
definitely.
But all right, so look at this.
What's yours?
Where's that chunk at?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow.
That's gas.
What?
I didn't even notice that while I'm doing the review. Somebody in the comments like left a comment saying that. I was like, damn, how did I even miss that? It's a significant like dent in the
Does
lapel
it look
there.
like a malformation of the mold?
Yeah,
or
it's
like
not a chip. It's definitely like an air bubble.
Oh, okay.
Situation, you know. So
damn.
That's a one-of-a-kind variant.
That's true.
There you
That's
go.
True.
Throw that on eBay, ultra rare.
There you go. There you go. So Alexi,
battle damage from the battle world.
Yeah, have anything new? It's been a little while.
It has. I haven't picked up a ton of stuff, so my inbox for figures is fairly slow. But you guys are cool if I show my dick on here, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, good. I just want to make sure.
I've been waiting.
It's kind of expected
For it.
It's a young dick too, so I don't know who's into that or what the thing is. But so I got a Mezco Dick Grayson, Golden Age Robin. He's so fun. Such a cool figure. Fun fact, I posted on Reddit on the action figure sub, and the title was just Mezco Dick Grayson, and they didn't let me post it. The post got immediately pulled because I had dick in the title.
On Reddit of all places.
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
It's real. This new government, the censorship is real.
It's already starting.
Yep.
Yeah, so I love
justice
this thing.
for dick.
Hashtag dick justified. Justified.
He's great. I mean, G. Willikers Mezco. What a release. This guy's he's cool. He's got a lot of fun accessories. He's going with my Golden Age my Golden Age Batman. And then I have the Golden Age Two-Face as well. So I was really excited. I know Jay's Toy Collection UK is also on the lookout for some classic dick. So I'm sure he pre-ordered this, and it's going to be fun to watch his review. But great figure, really enjoying it.
Is your dick 6 inches?
It's a little less than 6 inches, but depending on the pose that you put him in, he can be more or less useful. You know what I mean? So it's really about how and where you use it than it is like the size overall. You know what I mean?
If you're measuring from the base or from
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. If I put him on like surface with not a lot of stuff, you know, towards it, then he looks a little bit taller. If he's hidden in the bushes, sometimes he looks a little bit shorter, but it just depends on, you know, the angle. It's all about those angles.
Some enhancement there helping it out right now.
Yeah. Got a nice clean stick up. It's a fun figure, yeah. And then the other one.
Did you make that Batarang rope?
Or no, he comes with that. I cannot turn the camera around, but I've already started to put Giant Man into the Avengers pose there. So
I love that.
Yeah, he's got one Ultron in his hand there, and then he's got the other one getting the boot right off the shelf display. So
wow,
yeah.
Great way to show off the Pim Particles logo in the bottom of the boot.
Yeah, I didn't even realize. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that all yesterday, I took the time to work on the display for him. I'm probably still going to move it around. Are you guys going to chop up the box just to get that back alley display piece off of it?
No,
The buildings.
Yeah,
already
I
recycled
the
it.
boxes. So like, mine is just. I'm just gonna pull it. I'm gonna pull it out every time I want to take photos against it, but I keep the box intact. Yeah.
I think I am gonna have Amanda's more artsy than I am, so I think I'm gonna have her, trim it real clean and then put it on the back, because otherwise they're just like up against a purple backdrop, which is my wall. So we'll see.
It was
But I
helpful
don't think
when I moved. It was helpful to keep the box because then I could just like pack it all back into the tray and like it was easy for me to move apartments. But like people don't do that often, so
it's a good point. Yeah, I have gotten rid of every single box for the HasLab, so I'm like, at some point I'm gonna be like, damn it, I wish I would have kept these boxes. But
I have the Sentinel box because I really like the graphic. Like it's such a cool design. And the Sentinel, when we moved to our new place, the Sentinel actually just rode in the front seat with the seatbelt on. But like other stuff, I could see where you would put it like back in the box for travel.
Yeah.
When we do Giant Man, or when we move again eventually, and I have Giant Man and the Sentinel, and probably something other big that Hasbro puts out, I'll probably just move them like padded with towels or something like that. I think I am going to chop up the box for the background because if you think about it, that is what they intended it for, right? They put it there so that you could use it as a background.
Yes, but they also put those logos right at the bottom, so it's like, dude, come on. Like I appreciate them doing that.
That's true. That's true.
Giant logos there.
Yeah.
You got to scan it in, then Photoshop the logos out, and then
exactly
print out.
Yeah.
I'm sure Rush could do that. Rush can do that.
Yeah.
But you can strap all of the HasLabs into the seat belts and then have Amanda just like ride the roof of the car.
Like Beverly Hillbillies. Exactly.
There you go. Judd, our new subscriber, does have a question. What we like more, DC or Marvel?
You must be new around here.
I gotta be honest, I'm kind of 50-50. I was more into DC before the MCU really launched off. I think the MCU is really what launched Marvel ahead of DC for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the main thing that bugs me about the DC is kind of like how there's so many overpowered characters. You can say the same thing about Marvel, but man, like Superman is just like, depending on who writes him, can just like, handle anybody.
Yeah.
But I think it's 50-50 for me.
Oh, I'm Marvel. I make my Marvel. Like the thing I love about DC is Batman. So like I'm all about Batman. I'm all about the villains of Batman. But like you couldn't really pay me to like read a Superman or a Flash comic or Aquaman or anything. Like I'm sorry.
Kenny over here.
Kenny, what's your answer?
As I say, I mean, collection wise, it's definitely Marvel, but I mean, I'm staring at a huge wall of Superman figures. I have a Superman Snuggie. I may even have a Superman tattoo and no Marvel tattoos, but it's still Marvel. So I don't know. It's very contradictory.
Oh,
where's
that's
that
true.
Superman tattoo? Where is it? Oh, okay. Not where I was hoping. Yeah.
Oh, the other one. That's that's for the members only.
Okay.
Exactly. That's
Let's just say his S is a little straighter than you'd expect. Right?
That's right.
Well, nobody's perfect.
Well, if we're showing off DC tattoos, then I've got my Dr. Manhattan right there.
There you go.
With the comic quote to go with it. So
I forget that counts as DC.
Yeah, I'm DC all the way.
I don't associate Watchmen with DC, even though, they are.
Dr. Manhattan and Superman had a comic together. Well, I mean, they've had a few, but yeah. Also, Mafek's Batman Hush line is the only line that I've ever gone completionist on. So DC all day. If it wasn't for McFarlane producing DC figures, I'd probably have a lot more DC figures. Yeah. Best Superman figure on the market, 112 right there.
Love that Superman.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. So do one of you guys have access to the chat? I've got to run and do something real quick.
Yeah, definitely.
All
Tac Tac Toys is here.
Yeah. Go
Oh.
through. I'm going to remove myself for 1 second and you go through and just answer some questions. I will be right back.
He's gonna go put his Superman costume on.
Yeah, he's gonna come back in full Hugh Jackman Wolverine cosplay, and then he's gonna be like, "I guess you could say, bub, that we're Marvel around here."
Is this like in Wayne's World? You know, when Wayne leaves and Garth is just there alone on the show. Everything's fine.
Actually, it looks like we got a question for David Evan Smith in the chat from Tac Tac Toys. Can you see that, David?
No.
He says, what DC character would you like to see in the 66 universe? For example, a 66 version of Solomon Grundy, etc.
Hmm.
Or should I read it like Tac Tac? No, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, it didn't really sound like him. Can we take that from the top?
I'll go too Cockney with it.
I don't know. Like I embrace all, like, I love the idea of the expanding world of 66 where characters that were like Harley Quinn that were created in like 1992, like what that take would look like if she existed in 66 world. In the last animated movie that was the last time Adam West voiced Batman, it was a
Is that the Crisis ones? The Crisis movies?
No, they did a Batman 66 movie with Adam West, Julie Newmar, and Burt Ward voicing characters. They did 2 movies. The second one was about Two-Face, appropriately, and they showed Harley Quinn as a doctor, as a cameo. She didn't.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So like what she looked like in that was interesting to me, and they had Hugo Strange introduced in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'm up for all. Like, I would love to see what Poison Ivy, because 66 in the 60s, like they embraced the shapely woman. Like Catwoman's iconic for what she looked like in 66, but like Poison Ivy has always been that sex pot, like bombshell, and I'm curious if they would tone her down for 66 design, or like she would be like a cat suit with leaves pasted all over it. Like
based on
Poison Ivy would be my
based
answer.
on 66 logic, it would kind of be like a Reefer Madness like Poison Ivy, you know, where she's like, plants, man, like California cheeseburger, let's do some crime.
Right.
Or maybe,
I love that, actually. Like stoner Poison Ivy.
There's like this, I think they were DC Direct, but I have this like pinup version of
the
Poison
Bombshells.
Ivy. Yeah. The Bombshells,
Yeah.
Of Ivy?
Yeah.
I have that too. My Space Ghost Coast to Coast figure is interviewing Bombshell Poison Ivy in my display. Yeah.
Still
I love that figure.
So I'm back.
Oh,
sorry guys.
Hey.
And of course, come dressed as Wolverine though. We had higher expectations.
I got halfway on. I was like, nah.
That's fair.
But of course, as soon as I left, John pops in. So it's just got here. Where the hell is what's his name? What has Justin done?
Oh,
well, John, you haven't super chatted enough, John. That's what it is. So thank you guys. I really had to pee. I'm not gonna lie, I had to pee so bad.
I was wondering you were gonna come back with some kind of surprise or something.
Nah,
yeah.
I thought about putting my Power Ranger helmet on, but I was like,
or like
take
full
my
on
off.
Lord Zed cosplay, exposed brain and everything.
That'd been great.
Yeah, that would
back to action. You know?
But so, without further ado,
hold on,
no,
is it morphin time?
It is morphin time.
Oh.
I do have one pickup. I am going to show off real quick though.
Oh, I forgot we're selling pickups.
I got any Yu-Gi-Oh fans here? The Revoltech Elemental
I'm a
Hero
Revoltech fan.
Yeah, this is only my second Revoltech. I have Stitch and now this guy. So
completely different animal.
Yeah,
literally and figuratively.
Yeah. I've popped out of the box and messed with it a little bit. It's very different, but as far as going on the shelf, thing is, this is something they don't make a whole lot of Yu-Gi-Oh figures. So it's like as I pick them up, just they're on a shelf by themselves.
So is this
works.
like this is like one of the characters from a card, like Blue Eyes White Dragon?
Yeah. It's from the second anime. It's called Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. So
is that character that you just showed off more powerful than Blue Eyes White Dragon?
No.
Okay.
No. Don't worry. No, he's not.
Okay.
But so that's my only pickup. I popped it out. It's very. I see what I know. Alexi spoke on Revoltech before about it being very finicky. It is very different. It's very different. But I'm honestly gonna pop him on his flight stand. I'm gonna turn this a little bit. See my Yu-Gi-Oh stuff on the top shelf over there. So up there, what I do is when I've got the blue eyes, the red eyes, and a Figma Dark Magician girl. Dark Magician SH Monster Arts is doing a Dark Magician next year, and I think that's it as far as they're also doing a Elemental Hero Flame Wingman, which is from this season too. So, and as I get them, I like go on TCG Player and buy like a cheap card, put the card in a top loader, and put it in a stand in front of the figure to kind of nice display. I know John. Before John says anything, yeah, weeb shit. Yeah, John. I'm gonna beat him to it. But leading into that, I do have some more pickups that I got from my local store, but those actually tie in to our main topic today. So, bam, right here.
Wow.
Yeah, Lexi striking the pose. I absolutely love this thumbnail. So of course, Andrew can't be here today. So if anybody knows the history of the Yellow Ranger, Andrew's,
Ouch. Oh my God.
Wow. We went dark real fast.
Yeah. The funniest thing is that wasn't even planned. Yes, that's Rich.
It's Rich, yeah.
Rich as Zordon is the best. I would like full watch like a full reboot of Power Rangers.
Oh my God.
Like that just looks way too perfect, right? Right.
Yeah,
so good. So good.
Oh man. And can anybody spot Dan Who right there?
Oh my God.
Rita?
Absolutely.
Pow! After 10,000 years, I'm Pow!
I love that.
Oh gosh. Oh.
I think you should create like an alternate slide with with them as Bulk and Skull.
Oh yeah,
like Dan is Skull. Yeah. Like
I love that.
Like leather spikes and beret and all that.
I love that.
Turn on the light because that got dark. Jesus, poor Rich. I asked Rich's permit. So I messaged Rich when I was coming up with this thumbnail, and I put it together to see if I could do it. And I was like, well, I'm not going to post this without, asking Rich. So I messaged him, and all I said was, would you be okay with me using you as Zordon on a Power Rangers thumbnail? And, it tells you when someone's typing. It was like, he's typing, stopped, typing, stopped, typing, stopped. And a few minutes went by, and finally he just said, I don't understand the question. And then I just sent him this image, and he died laughing. It was like, yes, of course, yeah. Dan gave me no permission. He gets no say. He is Rita, so
yeah,
100%.
I mean, I think Compulsive Collector should be Alpha 5 somehow. I.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's perfect. John did say, thanks for making fun of yourself for me, Justin. I was eating pizza when you were showing that weeb shit. So I would have So we're talking today about, I think all of us in some way are Power Rangers fans, right? I was born in 89, so I just grew up with it. Mighty Morphin on everything. David was born in like 72.
Whoa.
So
whoa, we're not doing this, Justin. We're not doing this.
Not. So we have just a brief history. It's just a brief history of Power Rangers right here.
Wow.
So came out 93. So who all here watched Power Rangers from the beginning? I'm assuming Alexi did too. Alexi left.
We'll just raise his hand for him.
He's not participating in this anymore.
I'm out.
This whole he said bye. The Yellow Ranger comment was too far for her.
Swear I draw the line.
But so I just put this together so we can kind of lead up to really what happened with Lightning Collection and why it I might rant a little bit, but why the way Hasbro handled the Power Rangers brand pisses me off so much.
Mishandled.
Mishandled. It was created in 93. So, and shortly followed different kinds of toys, right? So you got these big toys right here. And then you had the little flip heads, right?
I own those. I did. I hated, you know what I hated? How the Green Ranger's like shield would like pop off like completely. Like if you tried the flip head motion, they couldn't figure out how to like engineer the shield to flip with everything, you know? Such a shame.
Mine broke. My original one broke. So you had that. And then Disney acquires Power Rangers in 2001 from Saban. Disney kind of just did their own thing, right? It really wasn't working out. They ended up selling it back to Saban in 2010 for a fraction of what they paid for it. Then
no refunds or exchanges, okay?
No,
what are we doing?
No. Then Hasbro steps in. They don't just buy rights to the toy brand or anything. They buy out Power Rangers outright, everything, for $22.5 million.
Yeah.
Bought it all. And so it changed hands from Saban to Disney, back to Saban to Hasbro. Bear in mind, and I talked about this in a previous stream, all the props and everything stayed intact. Now, Hasbro launched the Lightning Collection in 2019, and it was successful. I think it was a successful line. They don't have to pay royalties or anything because they own the brand, much like G.I. Joe and Transformers. Then, Lightning Collection ends just, a year ago? There are 121 figures, 11 role-play items, and 3 Zord Ascension projects. Zords. Basically like a cheaper, has the price of like a Sentinel, basically. What those are, that $150 price range. So, but what Hasbro has done is they're basically they ended the line without admitting they were ending the line. They slow played it. The quality control got worse, started getting less and less stuff, and they kind of just softly ended it. Like quietly, they just let it die in the corner quietly. They threw it in the basement with Andrew and forgot about it. So, but with that, they are now, so they let Super 7 have like license to do figures. They sold license to Playmates for them to do figures. And now they are piecing out all the props, morphers, costumes from the movies, the shows, everything. They're auctioning it all off. They've canceled all projects, all TV series, all movies. So they're just, that tells me, they haven't came out and said it, but that tells me they're doing this. And they are done. I think they've realized they're not going to recoup their money that 22.5 million by selling it. I think it would just be another what happened with Disney selling it back to Saban. Saban would scoop up and buy it for 5 million or something like that, roughly, or at least 10. They would lose money. So what they're doing, they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. They're not spending money on making the action figures anymore. They're letting other companies pay them to make action figures. And I'm pretty sure they probably get profit off what they make off the action figures too, on top of the royalties. And they're piecing out and making money off all the props and everything. So I feel like maybe once they feel like they've made their money back or enough and just squeezed all the juice out of that lemon, then they're going to let it go to somebody else, and it'll just be like the cherry on top. So what do you guys like? Is that the same feeling you're getting from like what all happened with just the timeline and everything? It looks like Hasbro, I don't think they're going to just outright sell it anytime soon. I feel like they're just trying to make what they can off of it without putting any work in.
Well, yeah. I mean, so I have a feeling like the Power Rangers brand suffers because it's not built. I'm sorry, there's not an audience that's built into it that is willing to allow it to evolve in a real way.
Yeah.
Like it's when you think of a show that's been how many seasons did they do? Like 30 plus seasons of Power Rangers. And I think a lot of us are attached to Mighty Morphin and followed it closely through the evolution of what that was. But when I fell off was like, originally I fell off in the like Turbo era, because Turbo is the season when there was like a hard left turn where all the Rangers that we knew left, and then there was a whole new team like in the middle of the season. Yep. And I didn't know who these people were, and so there was nothing left of the original that kept me feeling connected to the property. So that's when I didn't even finish out watching the season. So I think it falls into a similar trap of like how I view the Star Wars community. Like everybody is the stamp on the community. It comes from the original trilogy. And so they make attempts to evolve the brand and branch out and tell new stories with new characters. But everything inevitably is compared to the original set of how the franchise started. So people are so wanting it to be that we're more hypercritical of the new things that they try to filter into it. And so any new attempt to branch out in another direction kind of dies very quick death. I think that's generally like the problem with the Power Rangers franchise. Like if you think about the Lightning Collection toy line, like Mighty Morphin stuff will sell. Like people wanted to complete the Zeo team and even the Turbo team, but that was the last season that was really centered around those original teenagers, that they wore the costumes, they were all the characters that we knew. Plus, then you want to factor in all of these actors that have gone into legal troubles. Original Jason was indicted for fraud charges for something, and
it was around COVID.
What's that?
It was around something about the funding that some companies got,
for the PPP funds for
supposedly there was some fraudulent stuff with that.
So he's legally wrapped up in stuff. So then that changes his interaction with the franchise, in appearances and weaving his character into other seasons. We know tragically Jason David Frank passed away. So more and more connections to the original franchise are being peeled away, where I mean, I watched the Netflix Once and Always a Ranger kind of revisitation special.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch that?
Yeah, I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I thought that they did a good job of honoring the original story, and even doing it without half of the actors, because they were in costume with the voices, and you know but they did that in the original series, when half the cast left too. But I thought that was a good kind of revisit. They updated Rita a little bit so that you could keep the vibe of Rita alive in the series. So I thought that could have been the start of here's where we are now with the original group. but then that was like it was just kind of like honoring the anniversary of it, and then they never really followed up. So I don't know. I think it's hard to keep a property going if they feel boxed in to the MMPR stuff.
Yeah.
And not able to like have a sure sell in something that's based on Power Ranger Samurai or RPM or what, whatever other seasons that just were not identifiable with the overall brand. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, definitely. And
that's where I'm at with it.
And to your credit, David, like as I can go through some more slides here that I have, you can see that them not being able to get away from Mighty Morphin, which is the cash cow, really in the history of the line. So you got the flip heads, which were really the second figures that came out. Like these were the first ones right here. The flip heads and these have been, well, I'm not sure if these have been redone, but the flip heads got reissued by Bandai. Hasbro did their own take on flip heads. And as you're just going through, I mean, they did figures for every season, like Turbo here. Really starting with Zeo, they got into kind of more basic articulated figures like this. And they have different ones with like bikes and stuff. And they had the whole teams. And they attempted to evolve the toy lines with everything. But like you're saying, it kept dipping and dipping and dipping. Anybody that knows the history of Power Rangers knows that Turbo almost killed the brand. In Space, which is the season after Turbo, and that was meant to be the finale. That's why In Space is regarded as one of the best seasons of all time, with that great ending, and they just went all out on the story. It was meant to be the end. Zordon dies at the end of In Space. Spoiler if anybody hadn't seen it.
Oh, come on, man.
No.
Right. But In Space did so well that it bought them time. So the In Space toys were good. These were pretty good. They had like a button on the back where the helmets would light up, kind of like in the beginning of the opening, the intro.
Oh, light up features on.
Yeah, man.
Those In Space figures were so sick because it was the first figure that I had that had ball joints at the hips. So that Ranger could kick the shit out of anybody. Like any fight he had, he could just like cross face kick him because he had the articulation for it, and that made my red In Space Ranger like the top dog of the toy box.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, like it's only 7, 8. 8 points of articulation, but that's a lot for a figure back then, right? So you had the knees, the hips, the arms, at the shoulders, I mean. And you had the elbows. So that was on top of the light up features and the accessories. Like that was a fun figure line. That was a good figure line. And then you can see though, they always go back to Mighty Morphin with these anniversary sets. And I forget exactly when these came out. I feel like it was around 20. What? I'm not exactly sure. These are at least probably like 10 years, 8 to 10 years old at this point. But you see like, these are updated articulation and everything, except on Ivan Ooze here. But this is paying homage to those triangle boxes. And they always have to go back to Mighty Morphin.
Right.
SH Figure Arts stepped in. To me, like these are probably the second best Power Rangers figures after Lightning Collection. I put Lightning Collection above these because they scale better with other stuff. And you have the realisticness of like the wrinkles in the fabric and everything.
I bought this. And this, I mean, to be fair, like it was imports, but they were the first premium feeling line based around Power Rangers with unmasked, like unhelmeted heads. And
exactly.
Like, this was when this felt like, oh, you love Power Rangers. We are going to give you like the ultimate Power Ranger figure. So I bought all 7 of them, and I think I got the Red Ranger with the Dragon Shield. Ultimately, when Lightning Collection started, then when you got the sense they were going to go deep with the character selection, that's when I like actually Thirsty for Chicken bought this entire set off of me. From SH Figure Arts when I was like fully. because I had boxed them all back up. Like they don't scale with what everything else I collect.
Yeah.
But Lightning Collection did, and I could build world build bigger with Lightning Collection.
Yeah.
So like,
And
I didn't need to keep these, you know.
And you're looking at these, like, what did these cost? 80?
Something like 60.
Yeah.
I think like 65 to 80. You know.
Right. Lightning Collection comes in at 20. It went up to 25 at some point. And you get extra hands, not this many extra hands. You get the face sculpt, you get a lightning effect, and it's really, I think they're better than these. Arguably, that's just my opinion. They're at least on equal ground with the SH Figure Arts as far as articulation. But
it
needed real art like this. I mean, you needed articulation for ninja figures, you know?
So wasn't Bandai's line called Lightning Collection as well?
No,
like
Legacy.
Bandai made the Legacy. That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, there's a look at the SH Figure Arts articulation. I think it was on par with Lightning Collection. It's pinless and everything, which Lightning Collection wasn't until later in the line.
That JDF head is booty.
It's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good.
That's not
I
good
suppose
at all.
It was hit or miss too. But my biggest problem with these is they're kind of more Sentai-ish, where they're skinnier. They're a lot smaller.
Yeah.
So, but then this is what you were talking about, Alexi, the Legacy Collection.
Okay.
These,
yeah.
I had all of these, and I thought these were good until the Lightning Collection came out.
Yeah.
Like, man, these were loose and just they're that big muscular 90s. They reminded me. Yeah.
They look like they're based off the coloring books about the Power Rangers, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
because they always drew them. They were always buffer in the coloring books.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
The coolest thing this line did, which I wish Lightning Collection would have done, was they did Build-A-Figures. So let me.
Yeah.
Right here.
Oh, Legacy did Build-A-Figures?
Yes.
Sick.
So this isn't a great Build-A-Figure. It's really loose, but it looks good. And this is the exact same size as the Lightning Collection monsters that are a little bigger.
Okay.
So it's perfect.
So they could scale as like the Ranger, like Ranger versus Monster, or Zord versus Monster.
Yeah. So that's what it looks like next to it.
We would have got a 1/12 scale Megazord. Damn.
Yeah. I want the Super 7 one, and we'll get the Super 7 in a second, but I'm not paying $65 for the Super 7 one.
Well, also, SH Figure Arts did the Megazords too.
They did?
Oh.
Yes,
they did?
I had the standard Megazord in SH Figure Arts, and that's part of what Nick Thirsty for Chicken bought off of me.
Oh, but man, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think
I didn't either.
I don't know if they did Dragon Zord or Tiger Zord, White Tiger Zord, but I definitely know there was a standard Megazord in that line. Yeah.
But these were Bandai, and all this leading up to Hasbro getting it it was made through Bandai. Except SH Figure Arts, of course. Well, yeah, So then you get into Lightning Collection. Now, with this is Wave 1, and to me, they did a amazing job with Wave 1.
That's a great representation of the series.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So SPD is with Doggy Kruger here is a season I went back and watched as an adult, backtracking, and I took some, advice from other people that knew more about Power Rangers than I did at the time that had never left it. Said, "Oh, this is a season you need to watch." It was a great season, and this figure with that Doggy Kruger head, they did a perfect job. They have an extra neck piece, so you take the helmet off, you put the blue neck piece on, and then put his head on. It's awesome. The Zed was great. That Zed sculpt is amazing. The staff, there's a problem with the bottom of the staff where it's backwards. But they fixed that in the anniversary set in the 2-pack with Rita.
Yeah.
This White Ranger was the perfect figure to start out with. Just when you get these in hand and you see like the wrinkles of the fabric on these guys, it's perfect. The JDF head sculpt is not the best. I think it's better than the SH Figure Arts one, but they improved on head sculpts. And then
I don't think they ever nailed him though. Like
the best one is probably the Dino Thunder one, Dino Thunder Black.
Well, maybe, but I also like didn't identify him with that. That was the Ranger
short hair
of him that I identified him with the least. Like I think my favorite JDF head sculpt is the green headband one.
That one's pretty good. Yeah.
Evil Ranger.
Yeah. So,
and then you have the new where Dino Charge, I feel like at this time was the newest season. I think they were coming out with, what was it? Beast Morphers. I think this was the season right before Beast Morphers. So you had new, OG, a fan favorite, a really cool suit, a character that you wouldn't think they'd be so ambitious with doing from a fan favorite season, and arguably the most iconic villain next to Rita Repulsa right here. And that's just, it's great. And you can see what they come with here, come with weapons, lightning effects, extra heads, and then going forward, they do deluxe monsters, which a lot of people were annoyed that they were bigger. I never got that, because to me, when the Rangers were fighting them in the show, the monsters always towered over the Rangers.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why people were so mad about the scale.
In reality, they're too small, right? I mean, they look good, but in reality, they're actually small. So yeah, I don't know why people would get mad about that.
Yeah, I love the monsters, man. Some of them were lacking in paint, but these were like $34 releases. So, and they came loaded down with accessories. Pumpkin wrapper here came with pumpkins you could put on the heads of the putties or the Rangers. 2 or 3 different Vine effects, extra hands.
Yeah,
it's great. And then they did little mini vehicles in deluxe sets, like bikes. This was they did at least 3 different bikes with Rangers. So they were knocking it out of the park. And then you have Super 7. I do not like these Ranger figures at all. I will say I really do enjoy their Zords. The Zords are good.
Yeah, that looks good.
And because the Zords don't need to move too much. They're robots, right? I have this. I have the Tyrannosaurus Sword. The Tiger Zord was canceled because it didn't get enough pre-orders, which is insane to me that a JDF Zord doesn't get funded. That's weird. And I don't have the Megazord, though I hope it goes on sale at some point. I do plan on picking it up. And then that brings us to Playmates, fall 2025. So Playmates, it's been so long, they still haven't shown us any ideas, because I think they probably have a hard time. Because what are you going to do? They're most known for turtles, like retro turtles on card. Are they going to do the flip heads again? The flip heads have already been re-released. These things, the re-releases, you can still find for like $20 on card. Like, who's going to pay the tooling and all on this and all that? I don't even know if they can, because Hasbro still owns rights to this tooling.
Do you think Hasbro sells the tooling? Like, they would sell the molds to them if they're like essentially leasing out the brand, right? Like,
actually, I don't know if Hasbro even actually has these molds, because when they did their flip heads, they were completely different molds. So,
sorry, not for the flip head. I just mean in general.
Probably
Lightning collection,
Yeah, maybe.
John has a good point in the chat. He says they'll make Power Rangers figures again when some studio finances a movie or show, which will absolutely happen because nostalgia rot sells better than anything else in genre media these days.
This is true.
So his point is that Hasbro, and then he has another comment before that says Hasbro doesn't want to be in the film or television business. So I think his point is Hasbro will make the property if someone else produces the live action or the animated show or media to go along with it. So they don't want the Power Rangers license because there's no active property going along with it, which I understand.
Right.
But how does that work for something like G.I. Joe is my question. Is that because G.I. Joe is already like goated as far as media property goes.
I think so,
the
right?
thing is,
it's a long-standing brand for them too, and they own
they
it
own
outright.
it. Yeah, they own it already. So
but
they
spent all this money. They didn't have to spend all that money on Joe. They spent all that money to own Power Rangers just to give up on it.
Yeah.
But,
I do. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, this my kind of going back to my point about the inability for the brand to evolve. It's like Power Rangers was built on all of this footage from the Sentai old school stuff. So like they used up every stitch like scene of footage that they could find and woven American stories around that to justify the storytelling, right?
Branding.
And then they went into like they started using other footage from other seasons where there were different costumes, and they had to like start from scratch and explain like why are there new costumes, why are there new Zords, like what is the deal. But the one through line that helped keep us connected to that was that it was still Tommy in the costume and Kimberly instead of, and then Kat, or like we still had that the storyline of the people behind it to keep it consistent and help us feel connected to like why are we still watching this, because we care about Kimberly and Tommy and like what happens to them. So the problem in like them trying to reboot a new Power Rangers franchise to build a toy line off of, it's like you can't tell Tommy's story anymore. You can't tell Kimberly is probably not going to want to be a part of the franchise anymore. Like, Billy is 50 something years old. So like, you're handcuffed because you need to then tell a new story that is referential enough to the original that it cashes in on the nostalgia, but is still modern and new enough that you can build on it into the future. So it's like you're stuck between the past and the future and needing to satisfy both in order to be successful.
Easy.
You know what I mean?
Just Cobra Kai it.
Right.
Oh, right.
They tried. They did the Cobra Kai.
But so I mean, even Cobra Kai got figures, and I'm sure like dozens of people bought them.
Mm-hmm.
At least three.
At least
five. At least
5 to 10.
Yeah.
I don't know. There were so many different mishandlings with it, and that's what's frustrating. And David makes a great point with the brand not being able to evolve, but I could kind of counter that with John brings up G.I. Joe, of course. G.I. Joe sells better. Shrug. But
they're not stuck. They're not stuck the same way. Like it's
how
Duke
so?
And Scarlet, and like.
But how much has G.I. Joe truly changed since the 80s?
But it doesn't need to.
Well, right? I think the difference, we also have to acknowledge that one of these is an animated format and one of these is a live action format. And like David's point was, in a live action format, you have like a person or an actor that you're interested in and you want to follow their story through that universe as it progresses. But with like G.I. Joe, because it's animated, you can continue their story 10 to 20 years after the original story was told, and you'll still have very little to no change because it's animated. But for Power Rangers, it's more difficult to carry that on because, you got a shriveled up Billy, as you said, or like Kat or Kimberly. Those actors are going to be aged. I think they still could have leaned into just like the power fantasy of Power Rangers overall. And you can see that in the last live action movie that they did. Not that it was a good one. But they kind of just leaned into the wrong aspects of it. They were a little too angsty. They didn't get to their powers quick enough. And there were like points of the original story that they didn't accomplish those in the time that they needed to for the property to actually hit for the audience. And I think, because it's not that like, the actors in the live action movie that we had in the last 10 years, it's not that they weren't attractive. It's not that the effects weren't that good or like the story wasn't good. It was just a little too dragged out, and like they didn't get to the fireworks factory, which is what we all want to see. and a Power Rangers like property. So
and Goldar looked like shit.
Yeah, that looked terrible. Terrible. The Megazord too.
Yeah. You know what I was really wondering is like older shows like He-Man. He-Man was only 2 seasons and people will still fall on a sword for He-Man.
Mm-hmm.
But like David said earlier, Power Rangers was 30 seasons. How is the property still not profitable enough for someone like Hasbro, who's like the slut of the property community? How is Power Rangers not good enough for Hasbro, but like He-Man is still getting like scooped up right and left, you know?
Is it the animated
that's
live action thing?
Yeah.
Is that another example of not needing, like, you can evolve an animation and it almost feels better and built on itself because the animation is more advanced, and like X-Men 97 versus X-Men original animated series, like you're building on a property and making it better, but you're still carrying with you all of the things that made that great in the first place. You still have most of the voice cast that for the most part sounds the same, but their voices have aged. But like they're still hitting all those nostalgia factors that remind you why you're back watching this. Whereas like for your point about the revamped movie, they still call these people Billy and Zach and Kimberly, but all you sit through that movie and think is like, well, that's not Billy. Like, what are you talking about?
That's not my Billy.
You know, that's not Rita. Like,
Rita, my Billy.
Rita was the Green Ranger, and she's like, what, like, you know, like the more they try to say this is just like what you watched, the more you're sitting there like, no, it's really not. Like,
so do you think if like going forward, they just didn't take enough of a leap of faith on letting the brand evolve and getting behind new characters to put those suits on?
Well, I think that
when you say they Hasbro or like they the producers,
just in general, like all the companies, basically.
I think the Once and Always thing did a smart thing where they somehow Trini's daughter became like the generational successor to the Yellow Ranger. And so it still keeps it tied to the original and gives you that opportunity for a cameo where Zach comes in and looks in on Trini's daughter to make sure she's doing okay. But like, so it keeps it connected to the original and keeps that story alive. And even though Trini can't be a character anymore, we still kind of tell the Trini story through the child. And then it's like that generational passing down of the power. Like, are you worthy of the power to continue the, you know, like there's ways to keep it alive and keep it respectful of what created the love for it in the first place without distorting it or trying to, you know, keep Tommy alive through the voice inside the helmet, you know, like.
I guess my question for Justin is, because this is, you know, Justin's pain that we're all trying to work through. So for Justin,
trauma
like,
dump. Mighty Morphin trauma dump.
You said that you came back on SPD at the advice of friends and you were like, yeah, this is really good. So like, if it wasn't for SPD, would you still have had such a strong connection to the property or like to Power Rangers in general, or would you have?
Yeah, because I didn't stop watching until I aged out during Lost Galaxy. And probably even I had so much nostalgia even then, I probably aged out, you know, later than I should have, honestly. But it was just we all have those shows that you like woke up in the morning and you enjoyed watching. And for me, that was Power Rangers. And just having so much attachment to it through the toys on Christmas and everything and the show, and just growing up with it. Like David said, the same characters stayed through until halfway through Turbo. I mean, there was some changing. There was some changeover. But it's kind of like, what's that theory on every time you replace a board on a ship?
Ship of Theseus.
Yeah. When does it become a different ship?
Yeah.
And I think you can kind of say the same thing with Power Rangers. It slowly changed. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, who are all these people? But for me, like Turbo, it at least introduced those characters, and there was the passing of the baton. And at least Justin, everyone's least favorite character that season, the kid, stayed.
That's an interesting name.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then that at least passed the baton into In Space. And so it still felt like the same show in a way.
Yeah.
And even going into Lost Galaxy, it was different, but Bulk and Skull, or at least Bulk was still there, I think.
Yeah.
And it still referenced In Space, and they had a crossover. But then after that, it was like completely detached.
Yeah, it was like every season was like a new group, a new story, different. Like there was no through line anymore. There was no thread.
Yeah.
No acknowledgement or anything. It was almost like they should have just let it be like a different.
That was successful.
That
was successful for the Super Sentai though. Like every season was something completely different. So I see where they could have tried to pick up on the same methodology that Super Sentai had, because they still went through a ton of seasons in Japan and they were like popular. But I also think it's because the premise for those series were different, because the viewers expected and knew that it would be separate every time. And so for American viewers who are like, no, where's my favorite character? Then it was a lot harder to like keep up with it.
I think honestly, like I can be honest with myself, and it wouldn't bother the Lightning Collection coming to an end, and it could come back one day. It could, but I don't think it will. I don't think it will. I'm 99.9999% they're completely done with it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't bother me as much if they had just finished Turbo, because we get to that through line where I can get over them not finishing all the villains, because they were never going to finish all the villains.
So many, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But at least you had 4 more Rangers to do to finish that Zordon era. And then you can put a bow on it and you're done. And you couldn't force out 4 more Rangers.
Close at least close it out with that, right? You're ending it, close it out that way.
Exactly. But you're going to do these comic packs. They did the Omega Ranger 4-pack.
Right.
I had that 4-pack and I sold it out of spite. It wasn't my Turbo Rangers. So I think that's what really bothers me. Not that it necessarily ended, but their handling of it, giving us those freaking Cobra Kai crossover figures that nobody asked for.
Yeah, you got those, but you didn't finish your team. So there you go. Yeah.
The Street Fighter thing's a cool concept.
Was that them trying to tie in other properties to bring buyers to the line with a relevant
aren't we the same
series?
It's the same crowd. Who are you bringing in if you're doing a Cobra Kai crossover?
Right. I feel like the Omega Rangers was them. So they were doing the comics, and like you guys have pointed out, the difference between. So to me, Power Rangers is the 90s. Is G.I. Joe is to the 80s what Power Rangers is for us in the 90s, in my opinion. At least that's how I kind of see it. Joe has been more successful, arguably, but you talk about it not being live action. Them doing the comics for Power Rangers, I feel like was them with partnering with Boom Comics, them trying to extend it out, and they really doing more like stories and kind of filling in the gaps in between seasons and stuff that happened. So I feel like that was them trying to continue it and trying to give the line more life. But I almost wonder if they didn't lean into that hard enough, because that's a good way of staying with Mighty Morphin without just revisiting.
Yeah.
Because it's a brand new story.
Yeah.
I also think something to take into account is that so I looked it up, and Christopher Allen, everyone's favorite, mentioned that the G.I. Joe Classified, to remind everyone, has only taken off and been popular for a few years now. And I looked it up to confirm, and yeah, he's right. The Classified series started in 2020. And can we maybe argue that that's when the Lightning Collection started to ramp down? And so perhaps Hasbro was like, it's way cheaper to go after this classified series because everyone loves it and we already own the property than it is to like try to revamp and, reify like the Lightning collection. And to further connect this, in the Sith logistics, it's always a rule of two, right? So you can only have two properties that are successful. One property to hold power, which would be classified, and one to crave it, Legends. And there's no room for the Lightning collection in there.
Yeah.
So that makes sense that they had to get axed. But that only makes sense because we're like about an hour and 45 minutes into the stream, so I think it's okay for us to cuss. Why the fuck didn't they finish the Turbo team and the fucking Zeo team, the two most popular team? Well, maybe not Turbo, but like, come on, like, what the fuck? Why wouldn't you finish those?
Yeah,
like,
they finished Zeo. They just didn't do any of the Machine Empire villains,
which
they
I would have loved that.
Yeah.
Oh, talk about a light up feature action figure. If they had a battery in King Mondo and all the gears would spin and his eyes would light up, people would have sank so much money into that, man.
Fire.
So my local store had army builders, $5 a piece.
Oh yeah, that's good.
So there's going to be an expansion to the Power Rangers shelves. I'm eventually going to change up that whole display.
Nice.
Yeah, I would have loved to see they should have prioritized completing Rita's team, Babu Squat, Rito Revolto, and potentially Master Vile. I think they should have tried to find a way to do Ivan Ooze. I know like licensing for the movie was like different.
Still though, they gave us those damn bird things.
They could get away with that though because they were also in the show. So it's their way of kind of tweaking it a little bit. The same way with the Ninjetti suits.
Yeah, I mean,
at that point in the line though, you can also like add a $5 surcharge because of the license because people are like, fuck, that's the only thing I need to complete my collection. So they're gonna go for it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, Turbo should have been completed. I would have loved like the primary villain from like those Zordon era seasons. Like, just give me King Mondo, maybe the wife, Queen Machina, and then like Divatox was like the chief of Turbo, you know. So like if we got just those, and then like the army builder was the quick and easy, you know, sculpt one, and then like people buy 6 or 7 of them, you know, like
we didn't get. We got, what was that last army builder? It was from one of the later seasons. It was a weird look. Yeah, the Putrids, but we never got the army builders from In Space or Turbo, which I feel is a miss. I understand them trying to. That's another thing we can get into. John in the chat, I brought this up. Justin is always everyone's least favorite in everything. And then he said that arguably, I guess when me talking about Joe was salty as fuck. And one of our OG supporters is here, Stussy. How's it going, Stussy? Thank you for showing up, bud. And he did point out that Hasbro fully owns G.I. Joe. And for Power Rangers, they do fully own the Power Rangers brand, but Power Rangers has always been dependent on Toei/Japan for footage. And that was really what made them profitable, is them not having to pay out as much for stuff. So that's a good point as well. But do you guys, and we can go around, Kenny, do you think they were doing a right job with the way they were structuring the waves? Do you think they should have leaned more towards, because it's a weird balance, right? It's a delicate balance of old and new, trying to stay relevant while appeasing the people that are actually buying it.
So I would say, look, I'm not buying anything outside of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, right? And that's the oldest part of the property, right? So it's had more time to gain nostalgia. Nostalgia is a son of a bitch. So like people are gonna buy what they're nostalgic for. And if they're trying to like build out the entire Power Rangers market, it does make sense to kind of, put a little bit of this, put a little bit of that in each wave, right? I have no problems with that. I mean, there's stuff I would skip, and that's fine, right? I'm not somebody who's going to complain about that. There are things that other people like, and that's just how it goes. So I don't think there's any issue with how they were doing it. I mean, it all comes down to money. The money just didn't make sense for them, right? And that's why they're putting it out to, Playmates now. And not to like sidetrack from the question, but who knows what Playmates is going to do? I don't trust that they're going to give us anything in scale with what we have. It's going to be an entirely new thing. And if you're looking for 1/12 scale Power Rangers stuff, for now you're done. We just don't have anything at the moment. Side note though, I did want to I was rewatching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers all week, right? Trying to get it ramped back up. It's been years since I've watched it.
Because of the stream,
because of the stream,
homework?
Yeah, little homework, right? Little research homework.
Kenny,
exactly.
I love it.
I gotta come with topics, prepared. The amount of children that were abducted under the watchful eye of these high school students is concerning, right? So after like the third child's abducted, why are parents still letting them watch after their kids? Is all I'm gonna say. It's a little concerning. That's all.
Yeah. So that's
The
fair
real
point.
plot hole.
Fair point. Also, did no one ever no one ever connect? These 5 kids keep disappearing right before those 5 Power Rangers in the same color suits as the clothes they were wearing.
It's the Clark Kent argument,
Yeah.
But like, did Kimberly always just have a closet full of pink clothing, or
yes,
did she like change her wardrobe once she was connected to the morphin grid? Like did she go on a shopping spree to like?
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe Zordon just gave them like the Power Rangers credit card to just go,
only yellow, only pink,
there you go.
only black.
Have fun.
Not like that.
Well, Black Ranger always wore purple anyway. Like they shifted that a little bit. Like I don't know. And when Adam was like the Black Ranger, like he wore a lot of grays and green. Like it was weird.
Try to switch it up, man.
Yeah. All black all the time. You're like too goth for Power Rangers.
Exactly. The Black Ranger should have been like a goth kid. That would have been a nice little like
choker.
Yeah.
Like, piercings.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe the next movie. If it's ever
there
done.
you go. If you're listening out there.
So David, would you have changed anything about like how they did the waves, or do you think that had like nothing to do with the lack of success?
I think that the one thing that they never tried really was the Build-A-Figure concept. And I think if they felt like the line was in trouble or they were struggling to figure out how to continue to make it profitable, do you take advantage of the fact that you've backed us into a corner without having a complete Rita team? And this wave is the Build a Babu wave. This wave builds Squat.
Yeah.
So that you can finally complete your original monster family, but you've got to buy, the one of the Turbo Rangers and one SPD,
then I'm pissed off.
In order to finish your monster family.
Who has fallen victim? Who here has fallen victim to the Build-A-Figure format and had to buy figures they didn't care for?
Well, it's now why I hoard Marvel Legends, right? I had an idea just to collect teams, and now it's just out of control, and so there you go.
Yeah,
why not? Like if Hasbro's done this Build-A-Figure concept, like think of McFarlane with the animated series Batman line. Like we are, I bought the original line from DC Direct, and I'm rebuying every damn thing with cell shading that I already have in one Detolf shelf. Now the Detolf shelf next to it is the same thing with cell shading, in order to have a Condiment King. That's guy fair. With the underwear on the outside of his
That's fair.
Yeah. You played yourself.
Yeah. I'm a full victim.
I guess McFarlane, even though we don't collect McFarlane, John, we don't. They did get us, at least me, they got me to buy a bunch of stuff to build Plastic Man, right? So like, I have no desire except for the Superman figures, the rest of them I sold off because I'm like, I don't need them.
Hook Hand Aquaman, come on.
Yeah.
Like who needs that? But I built Plastic Man too. So like if it's a proven financial success story to do a Build-A-Figure concept, if you're not going to do it to build Zords, because I don't love the like normal 1/12 scale Zord. Like I want a Zord project Zord, but I never bought any of those either. But like that's where I would want to go if I cared about the Zords. So like, but those characters that we want to complete, like if they're gonna say, oh, we're gonna end this line in a year, but let's like close out certain things in order to like do right by the fans. Oh, sorry, I have like a gnat flying around in my house.
I was like, praise him.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to church. So yeah, like why not tap into that concept and like wind down in the right way and finish things out, and the bodies, like the Ranger bodies were all plain bodies, like just stamp a costume on it and cast it in a different color and sculpt a helmet. Like you'd think it was a profitable, like cost-effective line in the first
that's
place.
the baffling part.
And if you're doing an original sculpt for a monster, then do it as a Build-A-Figure, like, but maybe they costed that out and it didn't work. And it just seems obvious to me, but
it is weird though, that they didn't. Yeah. I mean, you could have put so many monsters in the line just through the Build-A-Figure program. Yeah. That's seems like a missed opportunity.
It's a very justified point, David, with the Build-A-Figure concept, because you can then re-release Mighty Morphin figures in a wave like they did anyway, and still you're appeasing people that are priced out of the ones they missed out on because they end up being expensive. The people that did get them will still get them because to fill out seasons or the Build-A-Figure. And going back to the Build-A-Figure, what are Marvel Legends doing every now and then? They re-release those molds of the Build-A-Figure as a deluxe.
Right.
And they could do that too later on down the road.
Venom pool.
Exactly.
So, and you there was still that big untapped market of like the civilian Rangers. They never really did civilian Rangers. They never gave us a real Vulcan skull. I can't buy the Super 7 one. They're not going to scale right. They look great.
Yeah, it's just not going to scale.
Yeah. So like, I mean, you could have done a Vulcan skull filtered one of each in a wave, like bulk and 2 Rangers and a villain and a Build-A-Figure monster, or, and that could have been a wave, and then next wave is skull. And then who wouldn't want to have a Vulcan skull in the collection, because they were like the longest lasting through line.
Even like multiple Vulcan skulls, because they were, like you said, they were there
different
for
eras,
multiple series, like for multiple themes of the show. We have like the original leather jacket, leather daddy Vulcan skulls, and then it goes all the way till like when they join up with like the man, and like eventually they're like security guards.
Yeah, they were like the police.
They were cops at one point.
There could have been plenty versions of Vulcan skull easily.
They were private detectives after the cop thing. They,
they got turned into monkeys at one point.
Yeah.
Monkey Vulcan skull. But so Alexi, what would you have done different with the line? Or do you feel like the way they released the figures in waves that it was just gonna get, the line was on, it was timed either way, like nothing would have worked? Or do you think there was a different direction they could have taken, like what David said with the Build-A-Figures, that could have potentially given it more time, more life?
I think they could have definitely had avenues that would have. I'm gonna stop talking corporately. They definitely could have done some cool shit. They could have done like there were routes where they could have done the BAF thing, which not a lot of us are happy about. And just to address Chi Chi Collects in the chat, I also haven't done the Blackheart BAF because I've gotten to a point where I've bought a lot of full lines and then just tried to sell off the figures that I don't want. But it's become so difficult these days because the market for Legends is like so flooded.
It's not great.
Yeah, it's almost not feasible to like just buy the whole wave for the BAF and then sell the figures you don't want anymore because it may cost you more just to sell the figures. But I do think there were characters and figures that they could have produced that would have gotten them a lot of revenue stream for the line in general. Like David said, could have done the casual suit Rangers. And then like I added, you could have done the mini editions of Bulk and Skull. And then like many people have said, they could have done Zords or more monsters or more army builders. There were really good things about the Lightning Collection that other lines didn't have. Those sparking or like exploding effects that a lot of the figures came with, those were so sick. And we don't get those anywhere else. Like the damage explosion. There was like, go ahead.
I was gonna say, hopefully they just give us those in Marvel Legends now, right? If they've got them around, you know, just give them.
That one effect where it like wraps around the chest like an X, and then it was just an explosion out. That was so cool, and we've never seen that in any other line that Hasbro does. Like, there were good things about this line. I think they really could have gone with, like, I know it would have cost more because of licensing, because the Power Rangers movie before, actually the Ivan Ooze movie was a different producer and like distribution, so the licensing would have been different, but people would have bought those figures. Like, and like David mentioned earlier, the original Jason from Mighty Morphin has financial problems. Guess what? That's the exact time they're willing to sell their likeness. Right,
there you go.
Like they need the money, so he would have done it. And I know because I followed that specific actor for a little bit as well. He would have done it. He needed the money. Like he would have been able to sell the rights. So there are definitely things they could have done to keep it going. I'm not a business guy. I fucking hate, like, you know, capitalist business practices and shit. So I know that it's always like, we got to be digging into the consumer so that we can keep profiting. I know that's the backbone of it, but I feel like they really could have done waves where it was like maybe 3 waves to fill a team, I would argue is like the ideal, you know, like 3 waves to fill Rangers in Space, 3 waves of overlapping to fill Turbo, or to fill Lost Galaxy, or Time Force, or Dino Force, or like 3 waves would have been perfect, I would argue. And I don't think, you know, looking back at the later releases that Hasbro was doing, it was like those clear, sparkly Mighty Morphin figures, and like they were crutching the Dragon Shield hard. Like, remember when the Black Ranger had the Dragon Shield? Let's do that. Remember when the Red Ranger had the Dragon Shield? Let's do 5 of those. Remember when the Pink Ranger looked at the Dragon Shield? No, let's do her with side eye looking at the Dragon Shield. Like, there was just so much crushing. And again, maybe it's because the teams that they had on marketing or on producing were not as experienced at the time, and like everything they learned from the failed Lightning Collection, they took to the succeeding. Yeah, look at that face. That's so good, and that's how we all felt.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's how we all felt when they lost the license, or when they put it to bed.
Rita is a mood. She is a full mood.
Yeah.
Alexi, you talking about them really crutching there at the end. They luckily did give us 3 mastered Mighty Morphin figures, and those are borderline just perfect representation of Power Rangers. The head sculpts are better. They have paint apps where the previous ones never did. They have the black on the belt and everything. They come with morphers they can hold with morphing effects.
That's right, yeah.
Even then, like they like you pointing that out, they put the Dragon Shield with the Red Ranger instead of the green to make sure you bought both.
Sneaky bastards.
Which is weird to me, because if you're going to buy one, you're most likely going to buy all 6.
Yeah, they don't need to do that to you.
Yeah. The Rita that David held out, it came with 3 different faceplates, right?
Yep. I bought 3 of them so that I had a Rita with each face displayed.
Nice.
This one is in my Savage Land that I just plucked to show on the stream. But like, I've got the 10,000 Years I'm Free one. I've got
Nope.
the I
No
Have a
Dan Who
Headache
faceplate
one,
though, right?
and then
The
other.
where's the custom? We need that.
Show
Yeah.
Collections are they're doing that one.
We need that Dan Who faceplate.
Oh yeah. Well, they could have also done the robot Rita from the Once and Always thing. You know, like that was a missed opportunity with this particular figure. You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But at least they squeaked those out, but still no turbo. And
but it's also like that was where they kind of ended the line when they were like, that felt like an upswing. That felt like, wow, we're committed to like giving you an even better like a truly remastered, like better version of what we did before, like giving you an amazing Rita when that previous one was really not it.
Yeah.
Like it was not the business, you know, like the soft goods dress, like, you know, like there's a lot in that Rita, you know,
and
just a shame.
When do you guys think they knew that they were ending? Do you think it was when these started coming out? Because these came out while Lightning Collection was still producing figures, while Hasbro was still doing their own figures. So it's weird to me that these are selling because they made all of them. So the fact that there's
unlike
a market
the Simpsons, they made the whole thing, yeah.
The fact that there's a market for these, but there wasn't a market for Hasbro to keep doing Lightning Collection figures is weird to me.
Do you think like
it's
the
super
Super
weird.
7, the Super 7 releases, like we're looking at the package here now, and you've got like 4 or 5 variants of the same figure that Hasbro would have done in the single box that Super 7's done with less articulation.
Yeah. And at twice the price.
Yeah.
But has anybody seen anybody post like pictures of these?
No one actually owns these.
Display
I don't follow
ever?
those subs. No.
Has anybody really bought these? Like I've seen them in the comic book store, but
they just exist in stores.
Has ever purchased this figure?
I've gotten the 2 Zords that I've gotten. That's it. I've been tempted by some of the villains because the Goldar looks good, and I like the accessories the Rita comes with.
Yeah.
I bought the
Rita for the telescope, and you know, like that. That's
3 of the
got
Hasbro
him.
And I really want the Lord Zed throne, but I'm not going to pay $44 for it. I'm waiting for it to go on sale.
I bought the throne.
What about the Mezco ones? Did you?
I don't have any slides
any of you got the Mezco ones?
I had the Green Ranger, and I ended up getting rid of it because
really,
to me, it was my only Mezco in my collection, and to me, if I wasn't going to buy the other 5 and finish out the team, I just didn't see a point in having it. And
but as a figure, was it good?
It was amazing. It was amazing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was great. But
I got to be honest, if Mafex did Power Rangers, I'd probably check him out.
Yeah.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if they. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
If Hasbro's like shelling out the license, it would make sense for them to go to more than just Playmates.
Yeah.
Right. Like they would make more money, and that would kind of ease whatever their concern is with the license, right? Mafex would be a great proprietor, you know.
Yeah. I would be down for that just to check it out.
Yeah.
Stussy makes a good point, saying the line was over once was it Brian Goldner passed away and they moved production to Vietnam. There was a big dip in QC control and just overall quality once it moved to Vietnam. That coincided really when they started going pinless, and a lot of those pinless figures were super loose, and it was bad paint apps and just really weird quality control issues. There was one figure where there were 3 different runs of it where I can't remember which season it was, but something about the suit, like it was like Wild Force silver or white or something like that, where the boots were supposed to be white or silver. Some had silver boots, some had white boots. Some of like the stripes or something were the wrong color, were the wrong number of stripes.
Yeah.
And some were the right.
Yeah.
And it was just weird. It was really weird, but that's a good point, Stussy.
It's not unheard of either because Walgreens used to be known for a really solid, I don't want to say like extraordinary, but it was a solid toy production or like toy distribution sector because that's where the best Fantastic Four Marvel Legends characters came from.
Yeah.
That's where the notorious peg warmer Inhumans came from. Looking at you, Medusa.
Hey.
But it happens. Like Stephen Ann was the buyer for Walgreens at the time, and then he got an opportunity, whether it's known or not. That's like his story. He got an opportunity in the toy community, and he left Walgreens. And then after that, Walgreens was like, "We don't care about action
we don't do action figures anymore."
Yeah.
The toy aisle died that day.
Yeah.
Which
So
honestly, side note though, I'm glad though. I hated Walgreens exclusives. It's a pain in the ass, like to track down Walgreens exclusives, right? And driving all over town to 19 different Walgreens just to find
so many
Silver Surfer, pain in the ass.
You already got your Blue Chew at the first one. You don't need to go to the next 7,
I went to one that had like 30 Danny Moonstars, and I racked up. Like, I bought a ton of that figure.
In New York?
Yes.
How?
It was like a Dwayne Reed, which was like affiliated with Walgreens.
That's the loophole. Yes.
Dwayne Reed.
I definitely in Manhattan. I've gone I found some of those at Dwayne Reed, and I was like, oh shit, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm always in Manhattan,
I was buying like 6 or 7 of them, like at the checkout, like Danny Moonstar all day. Like it was amazing. Give me a uniform costume.
And
we never got
look how sought after Danny Moonstar is now on the aftermarket. Like wild. And
I got
same thing with Walgreens Fantastic Four. Like that was a really representative.
You got those great arms,
those characters. Man. Yeah.
They fucked up with the retro cards by not giving him the long arms.
Yeah.
Fingers.
Yeah.
Nobody needs salad forks.
No.
That's my Mr. Fantastic on the shelf. That bothers me.
Like personally, I know we're going side note here, but like I like the retro card. I like the suits of the retro cards better than the Walgreens ones because I like that blue and white. But the Walgreens are absolutely fantastic. Because
speaking of Walgreens exclusives, tracking this guy down, Walgreens is just now this year they're popping up in stores. It was terrible. I think that's why Hasbro went ahead and re-released him with his Silver Cycle, and that version was pinless. But arguably, this one came with the better Zane head sculpt. But yeah, Walgreens exclusives were a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But so do you guys think Playmates getting the license? I assume Super 7 still has the Mighty Morphin license. Do you think they're done after Bulk and Skull? Do you think Super 7 is going to keep going? Do you think they're going to tap Power Rangers on the shoulder and be like, hey, maybe they see a loophole like 3-Zero's doing the 1/6 scale turbo figures now? You think Super 7 is going to be like, oh, well, we did the Bulk and Skull. Why don't we try to do the turbo figures now? Or do you think they're done?
Hard to say.
I think Super 7 has a very unique opportunity to capitalize on the fact that we don't have a lot of options, but they need to play it smart. Like, I don't think that Turbo is ever a property that anybody would get a lot of money from. So, if they went in on, like, if Super 7 went in on the Machine Empire villains, like, I might buy that because the detail that would be in that, and then I could justify the scale being a little different if they were the robot monster family, like I could see that them being a little taller than the Rangers. Like, so like if they chose really wisely with the characters that they went after that haven't been given to us by Lightning Collection, they might get my money. Like, the only things I bought from them is Rita for the telescope and the Zed Throne because they work with what I have.
Just stick with villains, right?
Yeah. Maybe we stick with villains. I don't see Super 7 going deep with Power Rangers though. Like it just based on their brand, you know.
Well, they've only done Mighty Morphin, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and I don't think they step outside of Mighty Morphin. That's the money maker, right?
So think they're just done now.
Hear me
They
out.
might do variants.
Power Rangers Turbo. Power Rangers Turbo is known for vehicles, right? Who do we know? Who do we know?
Oh, McFarlane.
That is known for
we don't talk
doing
about
vehicles. Who do we know?
You know,
McFarlane.
You got a good. That's a good point, though. Like,
think of your Power Rangers Turbo, and they don't need their shoulders to move; they just pop out.
So, and
when they get into the car,
and look, it's not unprecedented either, right? Like Hasbro and McFarlane have some crossover deals, right? You might be on to something.
John is rolling his eyes right now.
It's gonna suck because they're all gonna be 7-inch, 1/10 scale figures. But
what were the original Power Rangers figures?
So there we go.
They were the 7-inch triangle box figures.
That's exactly what's happening.
Wow.
In 2026,
full circle.
That's what we're getting.
I could honestly see that happening. I
we're not getting turbo vehicles from McFarlane.
We're definitely
not
getting
with
turbo
that
vehicles.
attitude.
That's never happened.
Dave, next year when we're at New York Comic-Con, we're gonna get the reveal of the first Power Rangers vehicle during the McFarlane panel.
I got these Power Rangers figures and cars.
And Dan Who's hat, if that's and Alexi's hat.
All the hats.
Glasses. If that's what happens at New York Comic-Con 2025.
Mark my words. All right.
Sure.
Here it is. Right now.
Timestamp the stream.
November 9th.
Todd McFarlane. You'll see the Ranger's knees bend, and then he can go in the car. I can't get him in the car right now, but, trust me.
Todd McFarlane here. Anyone ever wish they were a Mighty Morphin? What is it? I mean, a Power Ranger? We're going to take this panel into turbo right now.
I'm shifting into turbo. So
I think you all just sounded like you're doing Cher impersonations, actually. Like,
that's it.
I don't know if that was really McFarlane.
If I could turn back time.
So that leads us to the now, well, not even the now, the future of the brand. Right now, I think it's safe to say we're not going to get any more Power Rangers. I mean, SHF is still doing some Super Sentai stuff over there. We're not going to really get any Power Rangers stuff. And if Lightning Collection didn't work, I think SHF, they wouldn't move beyond the base Rangers. If they were going to, they would have done that already. It's safe to say. Super 7, they're probably done. Besides maybe some sparkly repaints. They already did a glow-in-the-dark Green Ranger, which is like $60, $65 or something, which is crazy to me. With Playmates, what do you guys think these are going to even look like? Because I don't, like we said earlier, I don't think they know yet.
I think they're going to look like Happy Meal toys.
Oh, man.
I think, right?
Yes, I agree.
Probably. Right. Are they going to be like, so not a flip head, so, but
too much
like this with
too much engineering
with the unpainted weapons and everything?
Yeah. Yep. They're all going to be stuck to a morphing grid of that. You got to pop the weapon out of the thing like
just
Ninja
like
Turtles.
Just like the weapon rack.
Yep.
Yeah. Man. So you think there's like 5-inch just
if I was a betting man. Yeah.
But so humor me.
Do you remember McDonald's toys? Think about that.
Yeah, that's what we're getting.
I think that's what we're gonna get. Yeah.
That's it.
So humor me for a minute. If they didn't do 5-inch, if they did 6-inch, I think they're only going to do Mighty Morphin anyway. So there's no hope of them even being 6-inch and just being less articulated 6-inch figures where they would eventually get to Turbo and do those. I think it's going to be Mighty Morphin. We're done, just like Super 7.
Did you, that slide that you just showed for Playmates, did you make that, or is that like a still from?
No, that's a
There's
still.
no way that the Playmates figures will be able to grasp the sword like that.
Exactly.
Even at that awkward.
There's not going to be a vertical hinge for him to hold that sword that way.
Maybe they blow our minds, you know.
But look at the logo. It's not a generic Power Rangers logo. It's a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers logo.
Yeah.
So they're not going outside of Mighty Morphin.
Imagine we get handsome Squidward like unmasked face sculpts or something. Like,
oh no,
extremely detailed. Like, oh my god, they spent all the budget on these head sculpts. This is like a set piece.
It's the best head sculpts.
Yeah.
There's no way there's civilian head sculpts, right? It's going to be their base weapons, the blasters, and
because they need likeness rights. Don't they need likeness rights for the actors regardless?
Yeah.
Unless they did, are these actors not gonna sell their I mean, come on, we've been over this, you know.
Yeah,
but would Playmates pay for that is really the thing.
Yes.
Like, would they shell out the money for?
I'm pretty sure Playmates board of directors is like 2 dudes and they're roommates.
Injustice based.
Yeah.
Yes, with Andrew. Like, Andrew's one of the guys.
Budget for that. Yeah.
That's where I got this picture.
David, did you know that so Walter Emmanuel Jones, right, the Black Ranger from Mighty Morphin, you know he was at New York Comic Con?
I did. I got
like he was on the showroom floor. He wasn't down with like the other actors and stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Like I just walked by him. He was like next to a like Brazilian snack booth, right?
So, I thought you were gonna say like a Brazilian wax booth, but no, I saw him on the main floor in the back of the convention center.
Yeah,
and the
breakdancing, like in the show.
What happened?
No, he was actually dancing when I walked by. Yes, but not breakdancing. No. Just standing up dancing, please.
But Karen Ashley, the second Yellow Ranger, was there as well.
The voice of Rita was there.
Yeah. Carla Perez was there. She was later the American footage Rita was there. And then a bunch of Rocky was there. The actor that Steve was there.
The Rocky the Red Ranger?
Yeah.
Is he bald now?
Well, thinning.
Yeah. You know. I think he's like a firefighter or something. Right.
You know what was sad? Like I got a picture of him at his booth, and like there was nobody at his booth, and he was sitting like looking down at his phone. So he looked super depressed and lonely. So I didn't share the picture like in my stories or anything because I'm like I kind of felt bad for Steve Cardenas, and he was like at the table next to Karen Ashley, and I think that there were people at that booth. So like I'm like, oh, poor.
How awkward. How awkward do you think it is for those actors that played like the second incarnation of the Mighty Morphin Rangers when they bring like the original Lightning Collection figures for them to sign with like the original actors head sculpt?
Yeah,
they throw it back in your face and be like, I'm not signing this shit, you know, disrespecting me at my table.
How dare you? Get the fuck out.
Yeah. Try to see if what is his name? What's Scott? What's real original Red Rangers?
No.
What's his name?
Jason? No, it's not.
No, it was
Hold on, I'll just Google it.
It's something Scott. Yeah,
I thought it was Scott, but then I'm thinking, was that the character's last name?
Yeah, Jason Lee Scott, right?
Jason.
No. Yeah.
No.
Jason Lee Scott.
What's his actual name?
No, it's Jason Lee Scott.
Oh, really?
Jason Lee Scott.
Austin St. John.
Austin St. John. Yeah.
Who's Jason Lee Scott?
I'm like,
that was his character's name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, Austin
St. John.
Yeah. All right. So Austin St. John's in jail for fraud. So like, I'm not signing his action figure. Bring me a Rocky.
That's
figure.
fair.
You know.
True.
That's fair.
You could also have a Rocky Blue Ranger though.
Yep. Zeo.
Yeah,
Zeo
that's
Blue.
true. That's true.
Yeah,
because he didn't make it to Turbo.
He didn't. He got replaced by a kid.
Oh right, Justin put
Justin,
Cardenas out of the
everyone's
job.
least favorite character according to compulsive
Yeah,
selection.
I'm gonna go to Steve Cardenas's booth to get him to sign a Austin's
Austin
St. John Red Ranger and be like, "Can you make it out to Justin?"
And he'd be like, Justin,
Nice.
put me out of the job.
Like, I was having a better time staring at my phone. This fucking guy.
Fucking Justin.
So it is sad for like an upcoming Power Rangers like toy line to not even be able to be excited about it. Maybe they'll do decent, cool like Zords. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe,
Sure.
maybe not. Probably
Maybe.
not.
Yeah.
Maybe Mezco will give us Turbo Rangers.
I'm saying like
That'd be
we're
sick.
all very concerned about how shitty these are gonna be, right? But Playmates is gonna blow us. They're gonna blow.
Now I'm in. Just stop right there.
They're gonna
Say
blow our
no,
mind.
Yep.
Say less, brother. Everyone in the chat is down.
Right,
That's
right.
I'm out. All right.
Not out of there.
Long.
They're gonna blow our minds. All right. Yeah, sorry, I got confused. I was thinking about something else. They're gonna blow our minds. You know, they're gonna actually put together like a great 1/12 scale line. It's gonna be fantastic. It's it's not gonna happen, but I'm gonna dream. A boy can dream. You know.
Yeah, wouldn't you love that though? Like we would all really love it. Like if they came out of the gate with something like, wow, we haven't seen Playmates produce something like Playmates used to do the Star Trek The Next Generation action figures when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought that line
years ago.
So long ago.
I mean, but they did actor likenesses, like they were. It was 5 points of articulation, but it was, or I don't know, maybe 8 points. But like,
same with phaser. You had a phaser too.
Yeah,
okay. I remember.
Yeah.
So like,
here's a good
they've
question.
done things that were a little more reality based in like with actor faces. They have done that in the history of their company. So,
right.
Who knows? Who knows?
Look what happened with Jada. Okay, Jada was known for the metal cars.
There you go.
They came
Yeah.
out with Street Fighter, and now the Hanna-Barbera Scooby Doo stuff and Mega Man, and we all love it. So,
Playmates
they
might be trying to be a contender, right? Like
that would explain the fall 2025. They're taking their time, maybe.
We need time.
If Jada can do it, then Playmates can do it, because Playmates has been in the game for a long time, right? In theory,
right?
True,
but
yeah.
With what you guys are saying, they might surprise us. What if they're not even going to do Rangers at all? What if they're just going to do 1/12 scale Zords?
This is a feign.
No. What if instead of the Power Rangers, they're like, so everyone's doing the Power Rangers. What if they come out with a 1/12 scale line of Mighty Morphin Zords? Because there were a bunch of different Zords.
I won't be mad at that either, actually.
Yeah.
They could do the Megazords. They could do all the individual Zords.
I was going to say the individual Zords would be sick.
Yeah. Because there was the Dino Zords, the Thunder Zords, the Shogun Zords, the Ninja Zords.
Well, but you said
Zords.
This is Mighty Morphin.
Their
promo is Mighty Morphin.
Yeah.
Are you saying they could go beyond that and just promo Fane?
Those were all in seasons 1 through 3 of Mighty Morphin.
Oh shit! Oh okay.
Yeah. They had 4.
Oh, Ninja too. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because
I would say that they shouldn't try that.
How do I kick David from here? Hold on.
No, but like there's
Paul in the chat. Should David shut the fuck up?
There's a specific toy. Like when I think of Zords, I think that the people that make Transformers toys should make Zords because
Oh,
they
yeah,
are
okay.
individual Zords that
Yeah.
interlock into a Megazord, and
Anyway,
Whoa. He was actually making a good point, though.
dude,
you
yeah,
kicked him
yeah,
at the wrong.
Wow.
You kicked him at the wrong time.
wow,
dude, you turned him into Hamilton.
wow.
He had
so-
good points. You kicked him out.
so sorry, David. What were you saying? What were you
But
saying?
I agree with David, though. Yeah, Transformers.
Like Playmates, come on. Playmates doing Zords. What is the articulation going to look like? What is the paint applications going to look like? What is that going to translate to? It's going to be a 5 POA Happy Meal toy where if you want to do a Zord, even if you're doing them at 1/12 scale, there are ways that you can apply a Transformers mentality to that line where you are connectable and you still can do the saber-tooth tiger, that you can articulate the arms and limbs and like apply the Transformers process to Megazords, but then do that. Like I wouldn't give that to
The part about that
concept
concept that stings the most is Hasbro owns fucking Transformers. So
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the problem. So like if they're not willing to it's like why would is it just me coming up with this idea right now? Like why would Hasbro not think of that?
No, look.
Yeah.
Hasbro still makes Monopoly, but they're getting rid of Power Rangers, right? Like it's like, what are you guys doing? Nobody fucking buys Monopoly. But, you know.
So these are. Do y'all know what these are? This is the
Zord?
Hasbro basic
Megazord.
Megazords. Hasbro made these. These don't transform. This is what I was kind of thinking.
And they're like what, like 7-8 inches?
Is that 5 POA?
6 inches. I don't know.
If that.
I hate that.
So there's no knee or hinge articulation?
The leg moves that
wow.
much.
They could have done a
Arms,
bath
level.
with exactly that and more articulation.
Yeah. So they did a few of these. See, and this is like season 2, the Thunder Megazord.
Yeah.
But like, is that not a good idea to do a Transformers type of Megazord?
Yeah, and it
Apparently
leaves you to.
not.
I like it.
They did their basic Megazord that it was like it was 2-packs and then the T-Rex came out and it transforms together. They did that, and it left a lot to be desired. And then they did the Zord Ascension project.
John brought up a good point though about that. So a lot of engineering that isn't in house for Transformers.
Oh,
Gotcha.
So they own the Transformers brand, like
licenses,
right?
all the way
No,
down.
they own it.
Yeah,
but they send it off. They have these partner companies that they outsource.
Yeah,
probably like
that
they do
Thunder
with
Megazord alone though. Like I remember having the transforming Zords as a kid, and they formed that like big ass 18 to like 24-inch one. Like, and that was so much fun. And that was aside from like the 6-inch like morphing figures. That'd be sick.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like a HasLab size, right? So 24, 26-inch Megazord would look so good on a shelf.
Yeah, they're
idiots. The year is 2024, and we can't get this.
Yeah,
you know,
Chi Collects says Zordline would be awesome. They could come with mini Rangers. That's what a lot of they had little 5 and 6-inch Zords in the 90s that were kind of like play sets, kind of. Let me hold on. Let me get something.
You know what I realize? Who's doing that right now, but not for the Power Rangers property? Fucking Hot Boys. They're doing those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle mechs, and then they just I think teased the little mini turtles to go with them. Not even mini, like 1/12 scale. Like that would be perfect too. Like Hot Boys doing like Megazord, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Turbo Megazord. They did this for In Space too, but it's like they open up and they have mini Rangers.
Dope. Oh shit.
Yeah. And it like transforms kind of like into a base type thing, and now I can't get it to close.
Classic.
Straight from the 90s. Straight from the 90s. But that's a cool concept. Like maybe they could do that instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's still mimicking something old. Yeah. It kind of fits into their shtick of mimicking old stuff. Maybe I would rather have
trying to be like retro.
I would rather have this kind of stuff again rather than just crappy Ranger toys, to be honest with you. Just give me different kinds of Zords, because there's so many different Zords in each season. So if you're just going to do Mighty Morphin, there's plenty to choose from. And they don't do this kind of stuff enough with like little micro Rangers and stuff like this. Yeah. Remember, there were Turtle play sets back in the day, Ranger play sets, all kinds of little play sets. Back in the girls had Polly Pockets, and we had what was it?
Mighty Max.
Mighty Max.
Yeah.
Not Mad Max. Fucking Mad Max. Anyway.
Witness me.
Dystopia.
Yeah, Mighty Max. They had an animated show for him too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think where do you draw the line between like retro wish fulfillment or like modern day? This is a great representation with great engineering and articulation and like paint applications and pinless and like like does Playmates rely on the retro like making of a toy that we had in '88 that because they can't do something that's a little more elevated and involved and
I feel like
crutch.
The more we talk about it and the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of thinking that Playmates makes sense for Power Rangers. Because
are we just
falling into that category?
Because SH Figure Arts stopped. Lightning Collection reached its endpoint and stopped. Super 7 reached an endpoint and stopped. So when the line keeps going back to the beginning anyway, go into a company that just does older stuff kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
That stings. That stings.
Yeah, I know. This is like a therapy session that realizing
I get what you're saying. Like, if it feels like the property has run its course, then maybe it's time to head over to the Playmates fields where they can run free and, have a figure or two of, how they were remembered, but it's time to let them out to pasture.
Yeah.
The other thing I was thinking of was we were trying to connect like transforming Zords for transforming properties and the producers, but is there an overlap between the audience who loves Transformers, like diehard Transformers fans? Is there an overlap with them and Power Rangers though? It feels like they may be too far apart for.
I think so.
Yeah. For Hasbro to be like, yeah, we should make transforming Zords. Like, who would buy
really?
I don't know, man. Like, they made a fucking Ninja Turtles Ninja Turtles Power Rangers crossover. So, do they have like boundaries? I don't know. I don't think so.
And back in the day, they made transforming Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And now we have Ninja Turtles Power Rangers. To be fair, that was a comic figures, by the way.
Yeah.
Great figures. Great story too.
Yeah, it feels.
Do they have boundaries? No, they don't have boundaries.
No. In the end, at least Hasbro for now owns the master license. So at any point, if they want to, they can just pick it back up and do whatever. Much like how Super 7 was doing the Cartoon Joe line, and Hasbro was like, "Well, we want to do retro carded Joes now that are more like the cartoon." Yeah. So you Super 7, and we're gonna do it anyway.
Well, that's a good point, right? Yeah, they can just revoke it and pick it up at any time, right? I guess so.
Yeah, so there's always a chance, but it comes back to them piecing out everything and getting rid of it as far as the movie props and everything. But the fact that I feel like they're gonna hold on to the master license because they've got so many licenses for other stuff they're not doing anything with. Why let it go? You can just let other people, you can sublet it out to other lines and make money off it just existing.
Yeah.
And so there's always a chance. So if we can go around, David, do you think there's a chance in the future that it's not going to be within the next year or two, I think, but let's say in like 3 years, Hasbro could say, not even, you think they could either bring the Lightning Collection line back, dip back into it, or just do a whole brand new line under a new banner at some point?
You're saying there's a chance. I don't know. I mean, I think I would like the idea of like, do they revive the Lightning Collection in little small ways? Like, do they do something at the end of the year, like at the end of every year, as like a holiday release that, like, cool. They give you a Bulk and Skull 2-pack, or like, do they do a do they just do something at Comic Cons, like a San Diego Comic Con release of something that adds into the Lightning Collection line, where it's like, you know, a small production run, but like something that they didn't get to do in the line that can kind of like satisfy us who feel like there's still so much untapped potential and missed opportunities. Like, do they just revisit it like for little spurts, like once or twice a year, to keep things going, you know, like just for fan service, you know? Like, I think that's worth it. I think that, you know, people like us who were sitting around thinking about what might have been, like, I would, if they did a Bulk and Skull pack, I would buy it. If they did Babu and Squat, I would buy it. Like, if they make the stuff that they didn't make, I would buy it. So like, they don't need to do that. Maybe they just do it through Amazon. Like, you know, like there's opportunities. There's a million different ways to.
If only they had their
smaller scale. You know,
if only they had their own website they could release exclusives for.
Wouldn't that be bizarre? Or like, you know, made to order.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe that.
What would a system even be called, though?
I don't know.
Hey, the only good system is a sound system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I hear that.
Yeah. Kenny, do you think you could see a future with them, like David said, just doing individual random releases, possibly reviving the line, or doing a brand new line in the future just through Hasbro?
Yeah, I mean, I would love, like David said, I would love that idea, right? Just some random releases throughout the year. I don't know. I think the most likely scenario is Playmates goes for a couple of years. They do whatever they're going to do. And then maybe we get a revival of Lightning Collection at some point in a few years, right? And then, you know, maybe they don't put it out as frequently. If you flood the market with stuff, you know, people just get sort of desensitized and they don't want to pick it up. Right? Yeah. Kind of like how Hasbro has handled Marvel this year, right? Every time I go to Target, I don't see any Marvel Legends at Target, you know? They've really kept a lot of stuff fan channel this year, and maybe that's kind of the route that if they ever bring it back for Power Rangers, they just go that way. Just keep it more fan channel, keep it more in-house. The fans who want it will go there, but they're not flooding the shelves with stuff. You know,
makes the heart grow fonder.
Exactly. And more, you know, not only in love, but also with action figures.
Yeah. Alexi, what do you think?
You've all given me a lot to think about. And like David said, or maybe Justin said, now I'm getting the points mixed up. But maybe it is just time.
There were words, things happen.
Yeah. Words. I remember the way that things made me feel more than I remember what you say. So I'm pissed.
I mean, I already said Hasbro's gonna blow us. So
Playmates will blow us. Playmates is gonna blow us.
Oh, I'm sorry. Playmates is gonna blow us.
Hasbro
will not.
Us.
They will fuck us, but they will not. Yeah.
Playmates is gonna blow us. Hasbro is fucking us right now as we speak. I guess if it's time to let Power Rangers be, you know, past the zeitgeist, then it's time for it to happen. And I know Justin, you are and were and will be an avid PR collector, whether it's Mighty Morphin or it's Turbo or it's any of the other iterations. And that was one of my favorite things about you as a collector and what drew me to your channel is because Dragon Ball and Power Rangers were two properties that I was like I'm very passionate about, but I recognized from an early phase that there were too many figures to get into when I started collecting, and I couldn't. And David Evan Smith and I have all talked about this in a group, all four of us, and I was like, I can't do it because those two properties, they're so deep and there's so many figures that you can get into, and I just don't have the space, or I'm accumulating the space for something else. So if it's time to let Power Rangers sit and be great, then I think it's time for that to happen. Playmates will keep it alive in a sense that they'll produce figures and people will go, oh yeah, I remember them, just like McFarlane does with DC. And then eventually we'll get good figures from another producer, and then it'll get right back into the zeitgeist, and people will be like, fuck yeah, I remember SPD, and I remember Lost in Space, and I remember, everything else. And perhaps that's when I'll jump back on, when Mafex is doing, the classic 5 in a 4-pack with one bonus that's a pain in the ass to get, or, something else like that. Then I'm going to jump in on it. But for now, it might be time to say goodbye.
Yeah, that's fair. I think this has been a fun stream, and there's a lot of talking points and a lot of, I don't know. It's one of the things where that's why I really like having multiple people on here, because you get different points of views, and everybody's made very good points that kind of steer me towards thinking oh, well, that's why I came to the conclusion on this stream that maybe Playmates is the right spot for it to land for now. So we'll see. We'll see what they look like and everything. And
I think we're so consistent about streaming every Saturday. I think we need to make a commitment right here, like Pinky Swear, or Blood Brother Pact. In fall 2025, we do another Power Ranger stream when Playmates reveals their inaugural line, and we hash it out for another 2 hours and 45 minutes about what it came to life like, and then we could revisit what we all talked about here and see how it matches up.
For the intro, make sure you use my Playmates blowing us.
Exactly.
And we'll find out in a year if we've been blown.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
But guys, I think we're going to wrap it up here. I appreciate everybody showing up. Before I forget, because I forgot last week, I want to shout out our channel members one more time. I want to thank everybody on this list for being a member of The Justified. Thank you, Z-Man, Tat Tat Toys, KJ Smith, Legion X, K-Mac, Ravenous Collecting, Encounter Culture, St. James, Compulsive Collector, Dan Who Reviews, Super Turk 5000, Art G, Darth Primus, Phoenix, and Christopher Allen. Thank you all y'all so much for being a member of The Justified. And thank you everybody for staying with us for getting close to 3 hours now.
Yeah.
We had a lot to say, and I'm sure there's plenty more. we could keep going for it on everything, but we'll revisit this. I like that, David. We will definitely revisit this next year, and hopefully Playmates doesn't just say, oh, never mind, we're not going to do anything.
They abandon the entire thing, and this whole conversation is for naught. Yeah.
Actually, we found this live stream, this YouTuber that thinks he knows what he's talking about.
They just to get out of the Power Rangers game.
There's this Encounter Culture guy who's saying we're going to blow everybody. We had to cancel everything.
Who's gonna blow us now?
No.
Damn.
There's always Toddy Mac. Always Toddy Mac.
Yeah, he blows
But
for sure.
Before we get out of here, though, I had to bring this guy out to tie into
Hi,
last
guy.
week's stream, right? Like, why didn't we talk? Why didn't we even bring this up last week? You know what I mean?
Right. Hi, guy.
Hi, guy.
All the monsters figures were so good. So good. But everybody, if you're still watching, make sure, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. We're getting so close to 1,000 subscribers. I'm still going to do a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So also, everyone's links are in the description of this video down below. Follow everybody on Instagram. Follow Kenny in Counterculture. Subscribe to his channel. He is absolutely killing it over on his channel. Reviews, live streams, everything you could want. Kenny,
Secret
where can they
Wars
find you again?
reviews all on the channel.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you can find the reviews on the channel. No, at Encounter Culture. But I think I'm here now, right? So I'm kind of abandoning my own live streams, but whatever, it's fine.
Hey, as long as you want to be here,
Welcome,
you
man.
are welcome, my friend. You are welcome.
Welcome to the you're justified in doing it. You're justified in doing it.
Exactly.
Where else is
Justin,
Playmate's gonna blow you?
Exactly. Exactly. You need a stamp every time, like we say justified, like you just hit it on the screen.
Yes. It's somebody that can animate, somebody a lot more talented than me.
It's not me, so I'll tell you that.
Can you have D Blake make you like a brass knuckle version of Justified?
Yes.
And then you just like literally punch your screen every time somebody, you know.
So
like
as long as the
that.
super chats can buy me a new webcam every time.
If this gets really famous, I'll just tattoo it on my knuckles. I'll just be like,
That's hot.
Right, there we
That's
go.
hot.
There we go.
Justified.
That works. The count works.
Perfect.
Justified.
Playmates.
I am gonna hit Damien up for some custom signs. That
He'll
definitely.
do it, dude. He did. He made me a Encounter Culture sign. Because like we end up at a lot of toy shows together, right? And so I reached out to him. I was like, dude, can you make the logo? And yeah, he was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll do it. And he just gave it to me. So
oh wow,
he's an awesome guy, man.
Yeah, and like at New York Comic Con too, like I got to hang out with him. David, we were there. We all went to the Hasbro panel together. It was good stuff. So.
Yeah, Damien's an awesome guy, and seriously, he everyone in the toy community knows him and loves him to death. So that says a lot.
Absolutely. So like I'm in line. I know you're trying to wrap this up, but so I'm in line at New York at the Hasbro panel at New York Comic Con, right? I'm the first in line because I'm like, I'm not gonna miss this shit. I'm just gonna be there. So I got there a couple of hours in advance. Damien is the next one to come in. So he brings with him Machu Toys. Comes with him, right? Between two Sentinels, Machu Toys. Right behind him comes in Paternia, then Toy Shiz, and then the Adventures in Collecting podcast guys, right? So like we're all just hanging out together for like 2 hours waiting for this panel to go on. It was awesome. Like
that's cool.
My channel is a little bit newer. Justin, you can relate to that, right? Like we're newer channels in this community. And like to be able to hang out, I'm just like hanging out with Toy Shiz, Paternia, Machu Toys. It was pretty fucking cool. And like Damien knows all these people and like has like built relationships with these people as well. So it's pretty cool, man. And he is just doing great shit in the community with making these signs. And like I have a ton of them, right? Like I put them on everything. I got some right here. And like everybody knows him. After the panel, we're hanging out with Ryan Ting, and he just hands Ryan a bag of these like signs. Like, oh hey, like last time. Here's like it's so casual. I'm like, dude, what is life? You know what I mean?
Starstruck.
Maybe he has like secret listening devices or like tracking chips in them or something.
Yeah.
Big Brother's watching. Big Blake Banks is watching.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I want to be able to meet more people in the community in person. But man, I know Dan who talks about it all the time. The US is so spread out versus like overseas where they all can take a train ride to see each
Right.
other. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to have a meetup one year. That'd be great. Maybe
You need to come to New York Comic Con, Justin, for next year, because Playmates, I'm sure, will do a panel that like reveals all of this
Power Rangers.
stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then we can all be blown together.
maybe
There you
it can
go.
happen. Maybe it can
I'm
happen.
so in with you guys.
But until then, David, where can the good people and not so good people find you?
Here every Saturday, consistently waiting to be blown. David _ Smith on Instagram, and occasionally on some UK channel like Dan something on Legends and Liquor Sundays. Every now and then.
Alexi, where can all these wonderful people in our chat find you?
I actually know Paternia personally, and he's a douchebag.
Nice.
So don't let his exterior fool you.
He was such a nice guy, dude.
That's just a public persona that he puts on.
Wow.
So you can find me at Your Boys Got Toys. I'm also the co-founder of D's Con. Ask Dan Who about D's Con, because there's big reveals happening at D's. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, I'll see you guys next Saturday. So happy to be here. Always a pleasure. Kenny, you're the man. I love you.
Love you too.
The Justified family, if you will, is growing. Everyone is welcome here. Thank you guys so much. This channel, this live stream wouldn't be what it is without David, Alexi. Now we've drafted Kenny. Andrew's in the basement. I'll tell him thank you later. But thank you guys so much. I look forward to this all week. It's a blast. And it's going to keep happening every Saturday night.
Every Saturday.
8:45.
The most
PM.
consistent stream on all of YouTube.
Right, exactly. Through hurricanes, through
Look, I don't even run consistently. You know what I mean? This is the most consistent live stream on all of YouTube. Yeah.
I did an episode with no internet. No internet. Just off my phone. So that was fun. Yeah, dedicated, man. At this point, I can't let Dan win. He's not going to let me live it down.
It's you're kind of stuck now, but
exactly. If I'm ever on vacation, I'm just going to have to give one of you guys my StreamYard sign.
It's going to be a 5-minute stream. Hey guys, I'm on
still
vacation.
there though.
I'm still here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But
I looked at the calendar, and there's not one holiday through 2025 on a Saturday. Not one fucking holiday. So
they're all in the middle of the week, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Through all next year. So we have no excuse. Hopefully nobody's wedding anniversary falls on a Saturday or whatever, but as long as any of us have no plans on Saturday nights, like, we're in.
Exactly. So again, thank you guys. Thank you everyone in the chat. People are still here watching. People watch every week. That's crazy to me. But thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. And I think we're going to end it there. Until next time. Appreciate you guys.
Morphin' time.